All right, y'all, welcome to the show, and all I have to say is, prepare yourself for today, son. Prepare yourself for today. So in just a second, a visibly confused Donald Trump has no clue what executive order he's signing. He makes it obvious he's lost. We'll talk about that. We have Trump getting special treatment. They're a special drug for a terminal illness. This is what's now being reported. This is what's now floating around out there. Huge deal, not getting nearly enough attention. We'll dive into that as well. We also have later on, Fox News is panicking over Democratic Socialists winning absolutely everywhere, and you simply love to see it. We have Joe Rogan truly hitting rock bottom, and now we're crossing the line into complete unforgivable territory with the misinformation that he's spreading. And also, Kristi Noem's big titty husband cannot stop getting caught. He is the king of getting caught. So we'll talk about that as well. We also have much more. You guys know the deal, man. Everybody do me a huge favor and subscribe to the channel and click that bell icon. That helps out big time and costs you nothing at all. You could also support the show on Patreon. That link is below. Remember, y'all, there's real independent media. I've never talked to an advertiser, never done an ad read, never will. You guys have made that possible. Thank you for everybody who gives $2 a month or $5 a month or tips with that thanks button on YouTube. That goes a very long way. You guys fund the show from the ground up, and we have the default ads on YouTube, and that's what we do here, man, and I'm very proud of that. Of course, you could also sign up for Crystal Kyle and Friends on Substack and go sub to Corin's World and come hang out with us on Monday nights. It's a lot more laid back, a lot more fun than here, where, as I always say, we are covering the rapid destruction of the country and the world. Okay, so let's start with this right here. So Donald Trump in the White House signing an executive order. As you're about to see, he has no idea what's going on. No clue what's going on. Let's watch, and then I'll show you some more. Here we go.
So we're going to be investing in American quantum leadership like never before to stay ahead of the pack. We're way ahead right now. We'll keep it that way. The second order I'm signing directs federal agency to transition to what is called quantum cryptography. Do anybody know what that is? You're going to hear very soon, so you're going to find it.
Cryptography? You mean cryptography? Bro, as I always tell you, his low filterness has now become no filter. And he goes, does anybody know what that means? Does anybody know what that means? Because I certainly have no fucking idea what we're talking about here.
I'm signing directs federal agency to transition to what is called quantum cryptography. Do anybody know what that is? You're going to hear very soon, so you're going to find it interesting. Cryptography for their computer.
Oh my God, man. Oh my days. Now, I'm just saying, if I was president, and I would venture to guess if many of you were president, I would never sign an executive order that I didn't know what the fuck I was signing. He doesn't know what quantum means. He doesn't know what cryptography is, or cryptography, as he said. Literally, like, fumbling around it. Does anybody know what this means? Does anybody know what we're talking about over here? So, as Chris Mowry points out, if Joe Biden said he didn't know what he was signing in the Oval Office, I think every right-wing pundit would have Botox melting off their face from the rage. Fox News would never shut the fuck up about it. They would talk about it literally for years. Tap Jaker would have added a whole new chapter to his book about Biden's cognitive decline. But Trump does it, and you are only going to hear about it from this Aaron Rupar post and from this show right here. That's it. That's it. And that is fucking criminal, if you ask me. No clue. No clue what he's signing. None whatsoever. Also, he continues with the delusion. He goes over on Live Social, and he says, my real poll numbers are the highest they have ever been. Thank you, President DJT. This is incredibly disturbing, because it's either rank lies or it's just incredibly delusional. But either way, he's clearly going to try to portray this into stealing the midterms and stealing 2028. As he said the other day in a speech he gave in Pennsylvania, maybe I'll run for a third term. I kind of want to run for a third term. But he's saying his poll numbers are the highest ever. At the exact time, by the way, it is the lowest they've ever been. I'm not exaggerating here. We just covered it the other day. One poll came out, he has a 30% approval rating. Prior to that, his lowest was 32. We're going to get a 20% banger. We're going to get like a 29% banger, 27% banger, somewhere in there. I mean, we are approaching world record territory here, man. We're approaching unheard of depths. This is insanity. And as everybody hates him, everybody's furious. The country's falling apart at the seams. He's making bad decision after bad decision after bad decision. He's humiliating himself like with the reflecting pool disaster. He goes, everybody loves me. I've never seen anything like it. People they keep telling me, sir, you're running the country better than anybody has ever run a country before. So we also have this. Look at this. This is from Jake Sherman. He says the following. Breaking. President Donald Trump has canceled the signing of the housing bill until Congress passes the Save America Act. Now, let me pause to point out, the Save America Act is his attempt to steal the election. It's his attempt to ban all mail-in voting, okay? That's what he's doing here, on top of the ballot purging and the ballot spoiling and trying to get the states to turn over all their voter roll data. Just open attempts to rig it as much as humanly possible, okay? He's saying, I'm not going to sign the housing bill, which is an attempt to address a crisis. I'm not going to sign that until you let me steal the election, is what he's saying. So Jake Sherman says, the stage is set at the Capitol. House GOP leadership is literally on stage right now touting the bill. And Trump goes on live social and says, today's housing news conference and signing is hereby canceled until such time as we pass the desperately needed Save America Act, which I consider to be a national emergency. So he goes out there and he says this. Honestly, this should come as no surprise to anybody. Even though he's shooting himself in the dick, even though he's giving the Democrats a massive gift, even though he's pissing off people in his own party, this should come as no surprise. He's pathetic. He's delusional. He's desperate. And he publicly said previously, or not publicly, I guess it was in a meeting, but President Trump told Speaker Mike Johnson in a private conversation this week that, quote, no one gives a shit about housing, according to 4 sources who heard the speaker recount the conversation. Punchbowl News reported this a little while back. Quote, nobody gives a shit about housing, he said. I've never heard a more out-of-touch thing in my entire life. That is insane. That is right up there with him saying, I don't think about Americans' financial situation at all. Wow, you're president of the United States, and you just gave the middle finger to over 300 million people. That is ludicrous. Or like when he said, we can't afford daycare, we can't afford Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. We got a war to fight. This is all stuff he said, again, because his cognitive decline is so severe, he's gone from a low-filter guy to a no-filter guy. But I'm still not done. You know, he shows up, and now reporters are pressing him, hey man, isn't it kind of important to get housing under control because it's so unattainable for so many Americans? Isn't this super important? And listen to his insane reaction.
Buying a home is unattainable for so many Americans. Is this election legislation more important to you than resolving the housing crisis?
This is, every election's important. We're doing very well. They want a lot of communists to come in. I'm saying it a little bit differently, but the people that they're pushing are communists, and this country is not going to have communists. Thank you.
Hey, isn't housing really unattainable? And isn't it kind of messed up for you to like slap down this bill, which is going to address the housing crisis and help people out? And he goes, the Democrats want communists. They want communists. I'm here to save the day and make sure you'll never get a house. You're the bad guy here. I hope you realize that. You're telling Americans, fuck your housing situation. I don't care. Be homeless for all I care. You're saying that, and then you're going, the Democrats are communists. They're going to do things like make sure you can never own a house. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Kash Patel's girlfriend will now be performing at the Freedom 250 event after many other artists rejected the event because Trump, of course, came out and said, we're going to make it a Trump rally. It's America's 250th birthday, but we're going to go ahead and make it a Trump rally. And this is not a joke. Alexis Wilkins, what a great honor to be a part of the 250th birthday of this great nation. When I first saw this, I thought this was a joke. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. Kash Patel's shitty girlfriend, who's definitely not a honeypot, definitely not an op, definitely not working for some unnamed other government. She went from singing at fucking gun shows and NRA events, when nobody wanted to listen, to now singing at this event where nobody wants to fucking listen. I also saw, I don't know if this one's real or not, but that Lee Greenwood guy or whatever his name is, I'm proud to be an American where at least I'll suck Trump's dick. Like, that guy's gonna, like, this is a joke. It's the 250th birthday of this country, and now everybody's disgusted by it. There's not a single person that's not like, what the fuck is going on here? Trump giving a rally that we heard 789 other times. Even Matt Walsh is like, bro, reel it in a little bit. This is getting kind of wacky. Performances nobody wants to fucking hear. I mean, shit, they've even downgraded from Kid Rock. And Kid Rock's an F-tier performer. Kid motherfucking Rock. Right? All right, but I'm still not done because I played this for you yesterday, but it goes to show you just how much his brain is failing to work anymore. He's asked about the reflecting pool, and listen to this.
Part of what's curious about this situation is we stood here with you in April when you first revealed the plans.
I said what?
In April, you showed us pictures of what you were going to do at the pool, and you said you had a guy who was going to do it in a week for about $1 million.
Well,
It's been 2 months and $16.5 million.
Yeah, okay, ready? Barack Hussein Obama, have you ever heard of him?
You said you were going to do it for a week and it was going to be $1 million. Now it's 2 months and it's $16 million. Have you heard of Barack Hussein Obama? That's right up there with sir, why are you not signing the housing bill? The Democrats are communists. They're communists. Oh, my word. Okay, but I saved the best for last here. Ready? In April, a 79-year-old man with high blood pressure got special access to an experimental Eli Lilly weight loss drug. Trump was 79 years old in April, and his physicals routinely show he suffers from high blood pressure. Okay? Listen to this. So, Retratitide or something like that is the name, and it's basically like a GLP, like Ozempic on steroids, Wegovy on steroids, right? And listen to this breakdown here because this is staggering.
This fat fuck has been taking an experimental weight loss drug that no one else has access to in an attempt to keep his sleep apnea, pulmonary hypertension, and congestive heart failure from killing him sooner. I'm a physical therapist with a doctorate in my field and 14 years experience working in home health care, treating geriatric patients, many with sleep apnea, heart failure, pulmonary hypertension, all the bullshit that he has. Lizzie Lawrence from Stat News has learned that Eli Lilly and the FDA have allowed one person to gain access to the drug, retatrutide is its name, through the FDA's Compassionate Use Program, a pathway that gives patients with serious and immediately life-threatening medical issues access to experimental treatments. Let me make sure you caught that. They're letting him use it because the patient has serious and immediately life-threatening medical issues.
Bro. I mean, I know we all know that and we've all talked about it and I've given you all the theories of the medical issues, but to have it in black and white like that really is something. Now, of course, they're going to go, no, it's not. It's not for him. He's not the one medical exemption that was given for this experimental drug at 79 years old with high blood pressure and obese, which he fits all of those things. And also, he would be the only one to be an insider enough to get the special treatment. They're like, no, it's not him, actually. We don't know what you're talking about.
A senior clinician at the National Institutes of Health requested the drug to treat the patient for refractory obesity with obstructive sleep apnea and pulmonary hypertension, a severe version of the disease. Lawrence reached out to the White House for comment before publication. They said no comment. After publication, they said, it's not President Trump. That's how we know. It's fucking President Trump. They're trying to address his nussy-related sleep apnea, congestive heart failure, and pulmonary hypertension primarily through weight loss. And the reason they will go to these lengths is because this motherfucker eats shit all day long and famously hates exercise. This lets us know that he should weigh roughly 300 pounds, at the least, if not for taking an experimental weight loss drug. But let me be clear, you are not looking at a classic sleep apnea patient. His sleep apnea and pulmonary hypertension is a result of his congestive heart failure. His heart is in such bad shape that it has resulted in systemic disease upstream from his heart, which is why you have the swelling in the feet and ankles. Many heart failure patients cannot lie flat on their back and sleep because their internal organs push up against their diaphragm and they cannot take a deep enough breath to actually go to sleep and remain asleep. This is all a result of his heart being shit, and they're trying to address the issue from an angle that he'll actually put up with, which is a weekly injection. At this point, he's on 62 days of borrowed time. Who did he borrow the time from? The rule of law.
Let's break this down and think about this further. One of the things that he's bragged about in the past, too, is that he never sleeps. He talks about how he never sleeps. Now, to be fair, there is this thing that exists that's called a super sleeper, where on 4 hours sleep, they feel like the rest of us on 8 hours sleep, right? However, it could just be all fluff. It could just be all bullshit that he says he doesn't sleep at all and it doesn't affect him whatsoever. Because what we've seen now is he can't stay awake in meetings during the day, but at night, he's wide the fuck awake, tweeting at 4 a.m. on the toilet. And so that's evidence of cognitive dysfunction. That's evidence of dementia because the part of his brain that regulates the circadian rhythm is breaking down, okay? That's not good. That's not good. Also, we've seen the other day, we saw from a picture at the G7, I believe, they zoomed in, pinpricks on both of his fingers. And that is an indication that dealing with diabetes. What are these drugs also used for? Diabetes. These weight loss drugs are used to treat diabetes, okay? He mentioned congestive heart failure. The reason why that is likely is because he has chronic venous insufficiency, they say. That's when his ankles swelled up, right? But if he actually had chronic venous insufficiency, he would have been dealing with the swollen ankles for a very long time. He wasn't. They came out of nowhere, okay? Acute ankle swelling like that is a sign of congestive heart failure. So it's not tied, it's not the more benign chronic venous insufficiency. It's, you're swelling because your heart is not pumping the blood effectively through the rest of your body. That's what we're talking about here, okay? Never mind the mini strokes. We've talked about the mini strokes. We've talked about one side of his face drooping every time he falls asleep in public. Looks like there's evidence of certainly mini strokes in the recent past. He disappeared from the cameras for at least a week. Remember that when he went away for a week and everybody was like, where the fuck is Trump? He usually can't stay away from fucking cameras. He always disappears at the beginning of every month to get some sort of an injection. I've speculated Leqembi for the Alzheimer's, which runs in his family, which he's showing evidence of, right? But now they're saying also he's taken this experimental drug to make him lose weight rapidly to try to keep his ass alive. They're trying to impact the congestive heart failure by reducing the obesity massively, which would reduce the stress on the heart, right? This is basically what they're saying here. Bro, he is barbecue chicken. And you know what one of the big giveaways is? Just look at his fucking face, right? I'm not sure he's ever in public anymore where he doesn't look like shit, where his eyes aren't like at least 50% shut, where he doesn't look like weirdly swollen, where his features look bizarre, where he looks haggard, where he sounds like shit, where he can't really lift his arm like at the G7 when he went to shake Macron's hand and he couldn't lift one of his arms very high. He doesn't know what the fuck's going on half the time. As I always told you, his dad died with Alzheimer's, which means his risk is up to 15% higher because of that to get it. He clearly lost his impulse control. He has behavioral disinhibition. He has phonemic paraphasia all the time. He confabulates. He has a decline in verbal complexity, repetition and fixation, sundowning, gait abnormalities. It's all there, bro. All the signs are there. So, I mean, shit, what else is there to say about this? This is, they are hiding something massive from us. And we're getting little hints nonstop. I would be shocked if that one exemption wasn't the president of the United States. I think it is, and I think they're doing it as a last-ditch effort to try to buy him more time. And finally, let me give you Representative Ted Lieu, Democratic congressman. He went and said it out loud. He called out the thing that we're all witnessing, all the reports of, is he taking this drug, and why is he taking this drug? Oh shit, it's to try to stave off terminal illness? Listen to what he says here, let's get it.
Thank you, Chairman Aguilar. Inflation is up. Grocery prices are up. Utility costs are up. Housing prices are up. We have a bipartisan housing bill that both the Congress and Senate passed. There was supposed to be a big signing ceremony today in the Capitol. And then all of a sudden, Donald Trump decides he's not coming to sign the bill. Well, why is that? Did he wake up on the wrong side of the bed? Is he unable to stay awake today? What's causing him to chicken out to get up to Taco Wednesday? Or is it side effects from the drug? We don't know. This erratic behavior of the president is very concerning. He has trouble staying awake at multiple White House events and cabinet meetings. He has clearly some weakness in one of his arms. He's got swelling in his hands. And the White House needs to come clean. What we know is there's a report saying that one person in America got this special new drug. It was a 79-year-old person who's very high profile. And this drug can only be given to someone under the compassionate use provision. Meaning you do that if someone basically has a terminal illness.
Ooh.
So we need to know, did Donald Trump get this special drug from Eli Lilly? And did he get it under that provision? And if he did, why is that the case?
I'm telling you, man, I cannot wait for the tell-all books to come out. We already got a little peek of that with Regime Change from Jonathan Swan and Maggie Haberman. But I'm telling you, there's going to be tell-all books. You're going to have Trump insiders. You're going to have people that have been in the Situation Room. You're going to have all these people say, you have no idea how bad this was. He had no idea what was going on. He didn't know whether he was coming or going. He was told you got 3 months to live maximum. Like, it's gonna be juicy as fuck. The biggest cover-up of all time. And this man, at the same time, is waging a new war every other week. Kidnapping sovereign leaders from Venezuela, threatening to do the same in Cuba, threatening to steal Greenland, starting an illegal war against Iran and carpet bombing their schools, doing every horrible, atrocious, terrifying thing, going old school imperialist and colonialist. Just a vicious, brutal murderer, doing terror attacks and killing fishermen in the Caribbean and the Pacific. And this man, in the midst of all that going on, he's hanging on to life by a thread with like 7 terminal illnesses beating him down into the ground. And it's happening right in front of us, and they're hiding it. But there will come a day where we know the truth, and the truth is going to be dark.
Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.
Now, I've told you many times that the Trump White House is not an administration. It's a regime, but more importantly, it's a criminal syndicate. It's a cartel, okay? They're a criminal organization. That's how they function. It's a mobocracy that we now live in. Everybody kicks up to the big guy, and, he controls everything like he's Tony Soprano. This is what the White House has become. It's now become a joke. It's now become a laughingstock. It's become a self-dealing circus. And everybody knows it. Now everybody knows it. Everybody knows on some level something is very, very, very wrong here. Because now we're at the point where they are shattering all records of corruption. I mean, they are making banana republics look like pristine democracies without a speck on their record at this point. That's how bad it is. That's how low we've fallen. Is that, you look at somebody like Hunter Biden and you go, what I would give to have that amount of corruption back. Oh, did you sell some paintings for like $1,700? Like, oh, you're so bad, right? Meanwhile, look at fucking Don Jr. Self-dealing, giving himself $620 million from the U.S. government for a company that he backed. So this degree of corruption, by the way, is just out of control. Okay, so take a look at this. New York Times. Jared Kushner solicits funds for his firm while working as Mideast envoy. President Trump's son-in-law is trying to raise $5 billion or more from foreign governments and others for his private equity firm. So this is how it started, with Saudi Arabia getting $2 billion from them, and now he's trying with everybody. Now, like this, why is this guy directly in the room, involved in the Iran negotiations, the so-called peace talks? Why is he the one that came up with the solution with how to funnel them $300 billion as well as their frozen funds? Why is he the one? Because he wants a cut. Because him and Steve Witkoff are getting phenomenally wealthy. That's why. That's what's going on here. We have never seen this extent of self-dealing. We have never seen this much obvious, brazen corruption. And people are just beginning to catch on now to how bad it actually is. Okay, ready for this? Steve Ratner says, it's not just Trump who has made a fortune off the presidency. After Trump was elected, Jared Kushner became a billionaire. His estimated net worth is up roughly 1,440% since 2009, compared with about 160% for the average U.S. household. 1,440%. This family should all be in prison. Let's call it what it is. Every single member of this crime family should be in prison. And we're now dealing with a whole group of people that is doing hundreds of millions in insider trading. Stop and think about those figures. They're doing hundreds of millions in insider trading. They are manipulating the market on a daily basis with what Trump says, and they're betting on the outcome, and they're winning virtually every single time. They make Nancy Pelosi look like a Girl Scout, okay? They make Joe Biden and Hunter Biden look like perfect little angels. These people are the most ethical people on the planet compared to the Trump crime family. They sued the IRS. You remember this? Trump sued his own IRS for $1.776 billion, or for like whatever it was, 10 billion or 100 billion. They settled for 1.776 billion, and Trump was going to take that and give it to the insurrectionists and the terrorists and his criminal family members and his friends. And then they even realized, hey, we've gone so overboard. This is so over the top. We might want to scrap this way of doing the corruption and find a way that's a little more subtle, because this is shit Trump has done. Trump also, remember when he created the Board of Peace? It was supposed to be, oh, this is above the UN and it's going to get peace everywhere. Then solicited money from foreign governments and foreign billionaires to give money to this Board of Peace. Trump took 10 billion US tax dollars for the Board of Peace. Stole it, robbed it. It wasn't allocated by Congress, not at all, not even a little bit. Took it, and now it's in an account that only he controls, bro. Only he controls it. Then you got the crypto scams. Then you got the shit coins. Then you got the pay-to-play pardon thing. Then you have the Bitcoin mining operation and the hotels all over the world and the golf courses all over the world and the $400 million Qatari plane and the resort in Vietnam and the fucking... shit. I can go on and on. This is a guy who's selling $100,000 watches all for a fucking money laundering pay-to-play influence operation. You have got to be kidding me. So they all belong in prison. They belonged in prison yesterday. But the story actually gets even worse somehow. So Jared Kushner becomes a billionaire, all from self-dealing as a member of the White House, even though he's not officially a member of the White House, right? There's like 78 different crimes there alone that you could go after him for, okay? But remember what else they were working on. Take a look at this. Ivanka Trump announces that she and her husband Jared are building a massive off-the-grid private island in the middle of the Mediterranean. Does a private island sound similar to you? Who does that remind you of? The island spans 1,400 hectares and currently has no power. They will be working with some of the world's greatest living architects to bring the vision to life. Quote, "It's massive in scale," says Ivanka. Let's listen to what she says. Here we go.
I'm working on an incredible project with my husband in the Mediterranean. It's massive in scale.
I think that's an understatement. Can you explain?
Yes, it is.
There's no
very,
power on this island. You're building everything from scratch, correct?
Well, it's an unbelievable, beautiful 1,400 hectare private island in the middle of the Mediterranean. We were on a friend's boat and we stopped for a swim. Effectively, that's how we found it. We swam to the island. We went on a hike, barefoot all the way up to the top, and we were just captivated. And it stayed with us ever since. And over the course of many years, we developed the opportunity to help realize its potential and transform it, but with a lot of restraint and care, because the land is so beautiful that really the architecture has to be fully integrated into it, almost rise from it. It's not even a business for me, despite the scale of it. We not only the island, but we have 5 miles of beachfront directly across from the island, this beautiful peninsula with a lagoon on one side, the ocean on the other.
You can't afford your groceries. You can't afford gas. You're struggling. 80% of the country is already living in a recession. 60% of Americans can't afford a $400 emergency and are living paycheck to paycheck. I'm talking about my private island. I'm getting a private island, and it's so amazing, and we're really excited for it. It's off the coast of Albania, and it's so great. Let me be clear about this. Billionaires should not exist. Their very existence is a direct threat to democracy. You can either have democracy or you can have billionaires. You cannot have both. You can't have both. If you have billions of dollars, you're too powerful by your very nature. Your extreme wealth corrupts systems. You can buy whatever the hell you want, and it makes it so that you deprive others of their rights and a fair shot at a decent life. Tax everybody. Every single penny over $999 million in net worth should be taxed at 100 motherfucking %. Okay, who are we kidding? And lock up this criminal family because they got all their money through crimes. That's what it is. Ready for this? So this came out. They're the new Epsteins, right? And there was a massive, massive backlash in Albania. They started burning shit down, going after the leader of the country who granted them the authority to buy this island. And now look at this. Albanians trash a construction site for a luxury development as 1/3 of the country turns out to protest Albania being sold off to foreign billionaires like Jared Kushner, Donald Trump's son-in-law. Here's what's going on in Albania as we speak. Fury over luxury resort projects, including one by Jared Kushner, has sparked protests nationwide. Ladies and gentlemen, that's how you protest. Now, to be fair, when you try to do this in the U.S., like they try to do at the ICE concentration camp in Texas, they give you 50 years or 100 years in prison. But this is how you motherfucking protest. And you know what? People are sick of it. They're sick of the Trump crime family. They're sick of the new Epsteins here. They're sick of the people self-dealing and making billions of dollars as you can't afford gas, you can't afford groceries. We have a housing crisis. We have a healthcare crisis. They're kicking 20 million people off their Medicaid. Ivanka's like, I have my private island and it's so nice and I promise we're not going to rape little girls there. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be so great. I love having my own private island to stay away from the pores. The pores annoy me so much. I hate it. They smell bad. They need to serve me my food and shut the fuck up. That's what has to happen. Jared's not a little man boy. He's not a little man child. He's not a strange, weird creature. He's not the new Jeffrey Epstein, we promise. He's not self-dealing and making tremendous amounts of money from billionaires and governments around the world to sell out the American people over and over and over again. Fuck all of you. You disgust me.
Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.
All right, y'all, we got to talk about this, but CBS is absolutely positively tanking in the ratings, y'all. They are dunzo. In the traditional sense, they are dunzo. So look at this in the Daily Beast. MAGA curious CBS host hit by stunning ratings collapse. News chief Bari Weiss's time at the network has been marked by wave after wave of scandals and controversies. Bari Weiss's existence proves meritocracy is bullshit. It is not the case that the harder you work, the further you go. It just simply isn't. In fact, quite the opposite. She failed up her entire life. The reason she was picked for this position is because she would be a little fucking cuck to the Ellisons, and they know she's going to bias the network into being pro-MAGA, pro-billionaire, and pro-Israel. That's her job. Be loyal to these ideas, these principles, and then you're good. You can fucking fail 1,000 ways to Sunday. It doesn't matter. We're going to back you. And now she's also going to take over CNN. Isn't that great? The total fascist destruction of our media right in front of our eyes. It was already piss poor, and there was already too much false equivalence. These guys are just making it worse. So look at this. Bari Weiss's disastrous tenure as editor-in-chief of CBS News is hitting ratings across the now Trump-friendly network. Weiss was brought in to oversee CBS News after CBS News owner David Ellison bought her Free Press website. Now, by the way, let me pause to point out, the Free Press is a 5,000 of view video outlet channel. So if they're worth, what do they pay her, $250 million or some shit for her dumbass channel? If that's worth that, what's this channel worth? Turns out it doesn't actually work like that. You're going to be surprised to learn, like I said, not a meritocracy, not about how successful you actually are. Turns out it's all ideological. And as long as you serve the fascists, the warmongers, and the billionaires, then you're good. Then you're in the club. Welcome to the Epstein class club. And by the way, Barry's wife has ties to Epstein, which people rarely talk about. They should talk about a lot more, by the way. There were emails and everything that came out between them. Here we go. Weiss brought in to oversee CBS News after CBS News owner David Ellison bought her Free Press website. She had no previous experience in broadcast news television. The dwindling viewership of CBS Evening News has been well documented since Weiss promoted Tony DeCopel to the prestigious anchor slot, with the show regularly falling below the 4 million industry benchmark. Now, let me pause to point out, this Tony DeCopel guy, on top of being a navel-gazing, self-obsessed loser, the reason why Bari Weiss and the Ellisons picked him is because he had a viral moment where he was basically shitting on Ta-Nehisi Coates to his face because Ta-Nehisi Coates is pro-Palestinian. And he was implying, if not outright saying, this is anti-Semitic and all that stuff. That's why they picked him. Pro-Israel. Doesn't matter he has the IQ of a motherfucking toaster. Doesn't matter that he's horrible on TV. Doesn't matter that he's a self-obsessed loser. I don't care. You're pro-Israel? Welcome to the club. Okay. Now, CBS Mornings is also seeing its ratings decline, notably since the MAGA-curious Weiss fired 60 Minutes veteran Scott Pelley as part of her controversial gutting of the magazine show. On June 3rd, the day Weiss fired Pelley, CBS Mornings averaged 1.8 million total viewers, including 313,000 in the key 25 to 54 demographic prized by advertisers, according to Nielsen ratings data obtained by Status. The day after Pelley's firing, CBS Mornings slumped to an average of 1.59 million total viewers, 225,000 of them in the 25 to 54 demographic. So, in other words, in one day, they had an 11% drop. Why? Because those hundreds of thousands of people said, fuck you, fuck your network, you're destroying it, we know what you're up to, and we're out this bitch. Scott Pelley himself openly said, oh yeah, they're destroying the network. They don't care about journalism. They don't care about truth. They're not trying to tell you the truth. They're not trying to do journalism. They are propagandists. They are failures. They are liars. They are propagandists. That's what this is. Scott Pelley himself said, Bari Weiss came in and said, okay, how do we make this story more pro-Trump? How do we make the anti-ICE protesters look worse? This is after anti-ICE protesters were murdered. This is after Alex Preddy and Renee Nicole Good were shot in the fucking face. She goes, okay, how do we make the ICE protesters look more violent? That's what she does. That's what she does. Disgusting. Meanwhile, Scott Pelley was like, we were presenting both sides anyway in the story, and here comes Bari Weiss going, no, you got to make the ICE protesters look worse. Oh my days, man. Oh my days. Not only that, remember, they held back the story on CKED. the concentration camp in El Salvador that we illegally sent innocent people to. Bari Weiss took one look at it and said, let's not run this. Trump's going to be mad. Then they accidentally ran it in Canada, but it didn't run in the US, so we got to see it anyway. Okay? So stupid, corrupt, and incompetent, all in one story, wrapped up with a neat little bow on top of that bitch. So 11% drop in total audience and a 28% decline in the key demographic alarmed some officials at the network, according to Status. The show regained some viewers in the following days, but CBS Morning's viewership from June 3rd through June 14th was still down 6% from its year-to-date average. The program is on track for its worst June ever, averaging just 1.7 million total viewers and 275,000 in the key demographic. It has already recorded its worst May on record and its lowest-rated quarter. While the ratings collapse at CBS Evening News under Weiss has been a concern for months, a similar decline at CBS Mornings could prove even more damaging for the network. The morning show generates much of CBS News advertising revenue, meaning a drop in viewership would directly affect the network's bottom line. Status Oliver Darcy said television executives have repeatedly told him that CBS Mornings ratings deserve far more attention than they have received thus far. The morning show's ratings troubles are yet another sign that CBS News is grappling with a broader brand image problem under Weiss. Her editorial overhaul and never-ending series of self-inflicted public relations disasters have alienated the network's core audience, driving viewers away not only from the program she has directly reshaped, but from other corners of the news divisions as well, Darcy wrote. And as network executives have repeatedly stressed to me, once those viewers are gone, it is very difficult to win them back. The Daily Beast has contacted CBS News for comment. So I'll say it. Everybody should know it. Spread it far and wide. Nobody should watch this fucking disgusting, pathetic network anymore. Nobody should watch it. They already were mediocre at best with their false equivalence, both sides bullshit. Now we've graduated from false equivalence to pro-MAGA, pro-Israel, pro-billionaire. It is literally just a propaganda factory. The whole point is to get you to love the fascists, love the warmongers, and love the billionaires. They're disgusting. They're disgraceful. I mean, we've turned this country into a banana republic. Honestly, even more embarrassing than a banana republic. That's what this is now, all because of people like Bari Weiss. Now, by the way, here's the scariest part. You ready? Is this going to matter? It's not going to matter. When I say it's not going to matter, what I mean is the Ellisons will continue to own it. Bari Weiss will continue to be in this position of power. In fact, she was just given more power. She was just effectively giving control of CNN. It's going to be the Bari Weiss controlling CNN in very short order. So continuing to fail up, having more power than perhaps anybody in media. We're getting to that point. That's what's happening now. And why is that? Because again, it's not about the money. It's about the narrative control. That's what it's about, okay? At the same time, the Daily Wire is so embarrassingly pathetic now, they decided to launch a 24/7 live stream the other day. They had to pull it down because it was doing so abysmally bad. It had 7 viewers at first, right? Then somebody, Evan, who I follow on Twitter, goes, I went to go take a look because I was like, this can't be right. Maybe they just launched the stream and that's why it was 7 viewers. He went, it was hours in and had 13 viewers, the 24/7 Daily Wire live stream. Then I was like, oh my days, I got to go check this out. I went to the exact same channel. They pulled down the live stream. No more 24/7 live stream. They even deleted it from their saved live streams. Acted like it never happened. Why? Because they're collapsing. Ben Shapiro gets donkey dick views now. He gets nothing. He used to get a lot of views. Now he gets no views. The only time he has a video that takes off is because they're buying it as ads to put in front of other actually popular videos, right? So we'll have like 17,000 on a video, 38,000 on a video, 22,000 on a video. Then you'll get like 520,000. And you're like, whoa, that's a big one, right? No, they paid for that one to be run as an ad, and it counts as a view when it automatically runs as an ad. The Daily Wire's falling apart. Again, doesn't matter. Why? Because the other day we learned they're about to get, I believe it's $100 million that they're raising from big financial institutions, from venture capital, private equity, whoever the fuck. They're going out there. They're going, give us more money. And you know what's going to happen? The billionaires are going to go, sure, here's more money. Why? Because they know his voice out there is good for propaganda. It's good to control the narrative. And if they're not actually popular, they'll just fake popularity. That's what this is about. It is astroturfing. It's astroturfing political opinions. It's astroturfing politics in this country. Again, pro-fascist, pro-warmonger, pro-billionaire. That's the idea. It's the Daily Wire's idea. It's CBS under Bari Weiss. It's their idea. It's what CNN's going to become. Jake Tapper, for as bad as he's been, he's only going to get worse now. He's only going to get worse now. You think he's been bad so far? Oh, you just wait. He will somebody was joking online. They said he will sacrifice a Palestinian on air to keep that job under Bari Weiss and under the Ellisons, okay? That's where we're at. So it is just horrible to see. And by the way, this is not even a partisan thing that I'm saying here. I'm just explaining basic facts. In fact, here is Nick Fuentes, the white nationalist himself, And he even explains in very simple terms exactly what's happening with the Daily Wire. Watch.
And I said this about a month ago when Daily Wire had their second round of major layoffs. Some reports said up to 50% of their staff has been laid off in the past year. When everybody said this company was going down the tubes, I reminded you, and I said this very early, that is just simply not how the media market works. The media market is not like other markets. In the media market, you don't actually have to make money because that is not the purpose of media. And maybe I would clarify, that is not the purpose of news media. The purpose of news media is it's effectively a form of lobbying. It's effectively a form of political lobbying. It's an indirect form of lobbying. And so the real positive benefit from investing in media is not actually the return on the money, but it's the return that you get in the form of influence, specifically over the broader market at large, over politics, over society. And this is why you really have investors interested in Daily Wire for the same reason investors were interested in CBS News and the Free Press and CNN and all the rest of it. It's not about the money. It is actually about the message. So we're going to talk all about that tonight. We'll get into the details. Very predictable. And it's like I said, this is why we in the alternative space are really fighting for our lives every day, because we have to make a profit.
Now, it's fuck Nick Fuentes from now until forever. He's a piece of shit. He's a white nationalist. He's wrong about everything. He's mad at Trump for not being right-wing enough, not being fascist enough. This analysis is correct, though. If you're actually independent, if you're actually new media, you have no choice but to make enough money to keep the operation moving. If your media outlet exists solely to push the message of the fascists, the billionaires, and the warmongers, you will always get an endless stream of money. And in fact, I've been in this game so long, I remember what it was like back in the day for right-wing talk radio hosts. Right-wing talk radio hosts like Rush Limbaugh, like Glenn Beck, Mark Levin is another one of them, Sean Hannity's another one of them. With their AM radio shows, you do understand they are charity cases. In other words, you have these big right-wing think tanks funded by billionaires where they will just give money to these radio shows, these radio hosts, and then they can keep it going ad nauseum, ad infinitum, right? It's the same way. Every time there's some right-wing asshole who releases a book, it always cracks, the New York Times top 100 list. And the reason is, when they release a book, these right-wing think tanks backed by billionaires buy the book in bulk, and then they hand it out at all their right-wing gatherings, their think tank events, right? And so that's why every time Bill O'Reilly shat out a book, it would be like, oh, look, it's number 12 on the New York Times bestseller list. They're not actually buying it like that. They're basically forcing it on everybody, handing it out at these right-wing think tank gatherings, and they're bought in bulk. So everything about it is astroturfed. Everything about right-wing politics is astroturfed. Everything about enlightened centrism is astroturfed. Everything that's pro-billionaire and pro-corporate and pro-MAGA and pro-war, all of those things are massively astroturfed. So if you're on the left and you're in media, good fucking luck to you. Enjoy those Hello Tushy ads that you're going to do, because that's what you're going to have to do in order to fucking, to pay for the venture, right? We're real independent media, never talked to an advertiser, never done an ad read, never will, but you guys support the show. I'm thankful enough to have a big enough audience where you guys can give $1 a month or $2 a month or $5 a month or tip on YouTube or join Crystal Kyle and Friends on Substack. And we're good. We're fine. We can get through because you guys support the show from the ground up. But most people are not in a position like me. And if you're, a left-wing pundit, you're probably going to be doing ads for fucking nicotine pouches or fucking whatever the fuck, Hello Tushy, because that's all you can do in order to keep going. Whereas the right is just backstopped by billionaires, backstopped by corporations and big money, and they view it as it's like a lost leader. Hey, as long as you're out there arguing for us to get tax cuts, as long as you're out there arguing for us to get subsidies, as long as you're out there arguing against the left and Zoran Mamdani and DSA, then you are worth it, even if we lose a tremendous amount of money on you and nobody watches you and we have to astroturf your views as well, right? That's where we are. Very, very disgusting. And CBS is the same thing. The ratings are in the toilet. They're only going to go down from here. Nobody trusts them, and it's not going to matter because they're going to stay on the air because the billionaires will take a loss on it, and they'll still have some companies that are willing to pay, so that you have some sort of ads running on it. Even if they're low-quality, shitty-ass ads from dumbass right-wing corporations, they'll find a way. So the whole system is rigged. It's media as lobbying, not media as truth-telling or media as objectivity. And that's one of the many reasons why we're in this shitty situation that we're in.
Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.
So as you guys know, we had a Zoran clean sweep the other day. That's what we had. We had Daria Lisa won, Brad Lander won, Claire Valdez won, and DSA is riding high as hell at the moment. We're talking about a whole bunch of upsets against establishment candidates. One of the guys was the head of the Hispanic caucus, Espaillat. He was beaten by Daria Lisa. None of their dirty tricks worked. And it's a new day in the country. It's a new day in the Democratic Party. Our Tea Party is here. And basically, the way I look at this is these candidates who are winning, all they're doing is pulling the Democratic Party back to what they should have been all along. In many ways, it's going back to our roots in the sense that arguing for democratic socialism is like returning to FDR's call for social democracy with the New Deal, with the shovel-ready jobs, with the programs to help people, universal programs to help people. Very basic, right? Mixing just clear support for equality across the board and human rights for all with democratic socialism to give people a good chance economically to make it in this sick world that we live in. That's all it is. And that led to a total fucking meltdown. First of all, you have the corporate Democrats melting down, the diet MAGA Democrats. I mean, Letitia James, who I like her, she did great work against Trump, but she came out and said, you guys are tearing down the party like MAGA. Tearing down the party? No, how is it tearing down the party if you run in the primary and you win? That's called democracy. That's called trying to fix the party. That's called looking at the fecklessness and weakness of Democratic leadership and going, you're done. Let the adults in the room step in and fix this fucking thing, okay? That's what that is. But forget the corporate Democrat freakout. Oh my God, the right-wing freakout is next fucking level. Oh my days. I mean, I've seen it's not safe anymore to be a Jew in New York. You need to leave New York City now if you're Jewish. I mean, I saw, this was before the election, to be fair, but I saw somebody vandalized Goldman's office, Representative Goldman's office. Now, he was defeated by Brad Lander, of course. Goldman is very pro-Israel. They put graffiti on his office that said, like, let Palestine live and, like, free Palestine and, you know, an anti-genocide message. They put that, they graffitied that. And you had Moskowitz compared that to, like, a picture of them putting Jew on a building in Nazi Germany. And he goes, it's the same picture. No, the fuck it's not. Not even close. Goldman his thing got graffitied because he supports genocide directly. So they're saying, stop supporting genocide and free Palestine, you bitch. That's not calling him a Jew. That's not being bigoted against him. What the, like, I'm sorry, your dirty tricks aren't working anymore. And the right cannot help themselves. Oh my days. They're saying we're Nazis. They're saying we're extremists. They're saying, you know, we're anti-Semites. They're saying we're communists. They cannot help. But notice, at the end of the day, they have nothing but smears and labels. That's it. They can't actually form a coherent argument against us because how are you going to form a coherent argument against universal health care, which every other developed nation has? How are you going to form a coherent argument against higher wages, which everybody wants? How are you going to form a coherent argument against raising taxes on the rich, which 80, 90% of the American people want? Virtually every Democrat wants it. How are you going to form a coherent argument against fighting for equality and shutting down these ICE concentration camps? You can't. And so what do? They lose their damn minds, and they're like, oh yeah? Well, you hate all Jews, and you're like a Nazi or something. Yes, the people who support Donald J. Trump and Stephen Miller and Elon Musk, the goose-stepping, zig-heiling, Nazi ketamine-addicted freak. Oh yeah, please lecture us about how, you know, we're too extreme. You're the party of pedophilia and rape and terrorism, but somehow we're too extreme because we have people who want to give everybody health care. Not buying it. Okay, so here's Fox News, and this was even before the election. They were just talking about the potential of these DSA candidates winning, and listen to this freak out. Cue this freak out.
All of Congress and all of these progressive candidates, you're right, Harris, they outnumber the regular Democrats because that is the Democrat now. In fact, maybe we should stop saying the qualifier Democratic. They are just socialists,
They're just socialists.
And that means Democrat.
Okay, let me pause to point out, it is totally fair to just call your average Democratic voter a Democratic socialist now. That part is absolutely fair. The difference is, that's a good thing. You're acting like it's scandalous and it's a bad thing. It is not. In the same way that your average Republican voter is a fascist, your average Democratic voter is a Democratic socialist, which means we are fucking awesome and on point, and you guys are disgusting freaks. That's what that means. Let's keep going.
Well, and I think sliding into communism, forgive me 1 second, David, because I want to hit on what you said.
Okay, let me just pause to point out, this part is just made up, right? Like, nobody's talking about collectively owning literally every industry. Like, is that what Daria Lisa was running on? She's like, let's seize the means of production and publicly control every video game company, every couch company, every fucking, whatever, fill in the blank with whatever private company. Nobody ran on that, but they can't help it. You're all communists or something.
This sounds like the moment just before Hitler moved in.
Oh, man, that escalated quickly. It went from these people are democratic socialists to, Hitler. What?
This sounds like the moment just before Hitler moved in. Because Jews were told, so first they were to wear the star, or first they were to give over parts of their business. It was like the mob taking over, and it seemed to be very slow. And then the next thing you know, they're being marched out of their homes and put in holding camps at first, and then and then it got worse and worse and worse. And the problem with that is, I love your analogy, is that tide just rises. It doesn't come into shore where you can run from it. It's all around you.
So basically saying the Democratic Socialists, the Zoran-endorsed Democratic Socialists who just won, they are like Nazis, and they're coming for the Jews. Yeah, here's the problem with what you're saying. Jewish voters supported these people. In fact, CNN just showed a poll the other day. The majority of American Jewish voters, I don't know if it was in New York or just American Jewish voters across the country, but they say Israel's committing a genocide. They are voting for anti-Zionist candidates. They are voting to free Palestine. They're voting to end the genocide and cut off the money and the weapons going to Israel, the terrorist ethno-state. Okay? Your analogy kind of fails miserably when American Jews are voting for these candidates and going, yes, I love these candidates. They represent me. I agree with them. The idea that Daria Lisa or fucking Brad Lander is Jewish. He is Jewish. And what, he's voting to fucking shove himself in a concentration camp? Do you hear yourselves? No. These are the people who are voting literally against concentration camps. Why? They all want to abolish ICE. We have concentration camps in this country. They're not Nazi concentration camps. They're MAGA concentration camps. They're Stephen Miller concentration camps. We sent people to CKED to get tortured and raped. Okay? We had Alligator Alcatraz, which was opened up. 4,000 people are missing from there. You know who's fighting back against these fascists, these disgusting pigs, these Nazis? It's all these candidates that you're smearing as being Nazis. The bottom line is, what they're doing here is a disgusting trick. If you criticize Israel and if you criticize genocide, they say, oh no, you hate all Jews. You're an anti-Semite. That's what you are, which means you're basically a Nazi. It is so incredible to me that the same people who cheer on Donald J. Trump, who cheer on Stephen Miller, okay, who were defending Elon Musk when he was literally Zig Heiling giving a speech, they go, we're not the Nazis. You guys are the Nazis. All of these candidates, here's what they support: equality, freedom, liberty, justice, higher taxes on the rich, giving people education, giving people health care, giving people daycare, releasing the Epstein files, locking up the Epstein criminals. Every single person who got elected is for the proper values, the American values, actually fixing the country and actually fixing the system, and you smear them as Nazis. But by the way, you should be happy they're saying stuff like this. Because as I've always told you, when you pick good Democrats to represent us, what ends up happening is you bait the right into sounding as deranged as they are, right? It's a rare thing, but it happens from time to time where you have a Democratic candidate or a Democratic politician that just by their very existence triggers the right into a frenzy and a bizarre meltdown where they become, they're incapable of making a rational argument anymore. Honestly, we even saw this despite his flaws with Barack Obama, where their racism and their bigotry made the right go mask off. He's a Kenyan Muslim Marxist. He's not American. He's insane. None of it ever worked. Every time they flipped out, Obama's approval rating went up and up and up because their attacks were so absurd and so over the top. People were like, what the fuck are we doing here? Sean Hannity attacking Obama. Can you believe he had mustard on his burger? Can you believe he wore a tan suit? And that's not to say there weren't any real scandals or criticisms of Obama. There were, but the right never made those arguments because they were too busy sounding stupid. But by the same token, that's what's happening here. It's like they can't make any actual criticisms of these Democratic Socialist candidates, so they just say, you're Nazis, you're anti-Semites, you're un-American, you want everybody to die. And then you go listen to them, and they're giving a speech about everybody should have health care, everybody should have daycare, everybody should have higher wages, we should stop arming genocide, we should actually be anti-war. And you go, these people actually seem pretty reasonable. So go ahead, cry, yelp, whine, bitch, moan, doesn't matter. This is landing on deaf ears. And Crystal said the following. Yes, candidates supporting healthcare and opposing genocide are just like Hitler. This is deranged even by Fox News' very high bar. And you know what, Crystal? It's only going to get worse. Just wait and see. The unhinged attacks on democratic socialists will lead to a democratic socialist century in this country. Because all they're going to do is highlight the contradictions and show everybody how awesome we are. It kind of is like what they did to Graham Plattner, where they thought every time they thought they had a scandal, we got him, we're going to take him down. He would go up and up and up and up. Why? The more you attacked him, and the more he became the heart of the controversy, and the more he said edgy shit, the more people looked into, oh, okay, what does this guy actually believe? And they went, okay, universal health care. Okay, stand up against the Epstein class. Okay, tax the rich. Okay, end the Iran war. Okay, stop arming and funding the genocide. And they went, turns out I kind of like him. And so all the noise, all the fake scandals, all the outrage, it really ended up helping us. And that's going to happen. Copy that all across this country. It's coming. You know, it's funny. Trump, in many ways, was one of the first people to have this effect, where like there's such a backlash, but it ends up making him the center of attention and ended up helping him in the Republican primary. Now they're doing it with all of our best candidates on the Democratic side, and they will fail miserably. It's like when Sean Hannity does these outrage segments where he's like, can you believe this is what they stand for? And they put up a graphic on the screen that's like universal health care, free daycare, end the wars. And he's reading through it going, huh, disgusting. And it's like, you're just helping us without even realizing it. So please, by all means, proceed.
Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.
Now, we've been covering quite a bit here the very disastrous and slow downfall of Joe Rogan. I mean, from when he initially hopped on the Trump train to when he has on a billionaire seemingly every month to coddle their nuts and tell them that they're special and not along in agreement, to his bestie friendship with fucking J.D. Vance and Elon Musk and all these assholes. And it's only gotten worse and worse and worse. But I think we're at the point now where this shit is just flat out unforgivable. I mean, the Trump endorsement and everything that from then on was kind of unforgivable. Running cover for the Epstein class, incredibly unforgivable. But this is wild, bro. This right here is wild. And this goes to show you that if you watch Joe Rogan, you're actually worse off in terms of getting the news than if you watch no news at all, right? Like, literally totally disengaging would mean you are more educated on the world than listening to this podcast or watching this podcast, okay? Like, we're talking about mistakes that are elementary school level fuck-ups here. Either that or he's just being completely and utterly dishonest. In all seriousness, I think this is just his stupidity. Like, he's flexing his ignorance and his stupidity in this clip, which you're about to see here. And it's hard to watch. So right off the jump here, shout out to Podcast Cringe. Everybody could check him out. He does a lot of great videos on the Rogan sphere. And he caught this. And, you know, I never would have caught this if he didn't catch this because I don't listen to Joe Rogan's horrific podcast anymore. But listen how bad this is. Prepare yourself.
And for me personally, after listening to Cam explain the whole situation, I really want to book a trip to go through there before it gets destroyed. But then there's the misinformation I mentioned at the beginning of this video. After all the talk about corruption, dark money, and lies from the current administration, Rogan decided to blame the root of money in politics on one specific piece of supposed legislation, except he completely butchers it. And this ends up being one of those moments where the exact opposite of what Joe's saying is what actually happened.
Okay, here's a big question. When did money officially become a problem in politics? I know that's a very broad question, but put that in perplexity and see what it says.
The Citizens United thing was a big deal, but I think it was 2012.
What thing is that?
Citizens United.
Citizens United.
Yeah.
And that was 2012.
I think so.
Okay, before we continue here, let me just point out, they're also not right about this. Citizens United shot a dead horse. There were a number of cases leading up to Citizens United that basically legalized money in politics and said a billionaire spending as much as they want, corporations spending as much as they want, that is equal to their free speech. So if you try to regulate the amount they can spend in politics, you're regulating their free speech. Ergo, it's totally illegal to regulate money in politics. And there's different ways you can spend. You can spend through a campaign, you can spend through a PAC, there's a number of ways you can do it, and there's different rules for each. But we're very laissez-faire. Billionaires can buy whatever elections they want, and we'll just pretend it's free speech, okay? But it wasn't 2012. That shot a dead horse. It actually goes back to the 1970s. You have Buckley versus Vallejo, you have Bilotti, you have like a number of cases that built the logic for this. Okay, now having said that, let's continue. Wait for it.
Perplexity and see what it says.
The Citizens United thing was a big deal, but I think it was 2012.
What thing is that?
Citizens United.
Citizens United.
Yeah.
And that was 2012.
I think so.
That changed it a lot, but it was always a problem before that. Citizens United decision is widely seen as having created serious problems in U.S. politics by vastly increasing the role of big money and reducing transparency. So 2010 Supreme Court decision further tilted political influence towards wealthy donors and corporations. That's when we got fucked.
Yeah, I think that's when it started treating corporations like a person and gave them rights in some way.
That was Obama.
So that's how they control the elections, right?
He literally reads, it's a Supreme Court decision. And it's like his brain is off, and then it sets in like a little later that, oh yeah, the year is 2012, and he goes, that was Obama. You see what I'm saying? You're better off if you don't listen or watch or read anything than if you're listening to this. Because now you're going to walk away going, Obama was the one who let money in politics, bro, and money in politics is what corrupted everything. No, yes, money in politics is the problem. Obama had nothing to do with allowing money in politics. It was the Republican Supreme Court that did it, and Obama was against it. He was against it. He openly was against it. He goes, that was Obama that did that. Oh, no. Oh, my days. Oh, no. Oh, what are we doing, bro? What are we doing? I can't. Oh, my God. I'm going to have an aneurysm listening to this guy. And you know there's like hundreds of thousands, millions of listeners half paying attention, and they're going to walk away from this with, Obama was the one who really let money in politics and fucked everything up, bro.
Corporations. That's when we got fucked.
Yeah, I think that's when it started treating corporations like a person and gave them rights in some way.
That was Obama.
So that's how...
I'll ask you guys, is he just flat out lying here, or is he actually stupid enough to think, even though he read it was the Supreme Court, which was dominated by conservatives, he read it was the Supreme Court, then he goes, that was Obama. Is he lying? Or is he stupid? Is he lying or is he stupid? Put it in the comment section below.
They control the elections right there.
And that was the Obama administration.
One too many alpha brain pills, one too many injections of TRT or human growth hormone, one too many fucking supplements, and this guy is cooked. I think he's been inside that MAGA bubble for a little too long, where he texts with Donald Trump, he texts with J.D. Vance. He's one of the insiders. He's buddy-buddy with Peter Thiel. He's buddy-buddy with Elon Musk after all of this shit. After he cut pediatric cancer research and Meals on Wheels and sentenced millions of people to death. After fucking Peter Thiel's out there like, I'm not sure if I'm pro-Team Human. After all of that, he's still with them. So is he lying or is he stupid is my question for you. But I'm still not done. I want you to hear some of the response from Podcast Cringe, who, by the way, is nobody's lefty. He's not me. He's not a member of DSA. He's not a Zoran stan. This is a regular dude who happens to be educated on some of this stuff, and he goes, oh, you have got to be kidding me to what Joe Rogan said here.
Okay, so first of all, Rogan is 100% correct that Citizens United is a massive problem. The 2010 Citizens United versus FEC Supreme Court decision gave corporations and unions the ability to make unlimited political donations, created super PACs, and flooded the political system with the so-called dark money on both sides. That part is correct, and it's wild that it took Cam Haines to get Rogan to actually talk about this properly. But Rogan saw that date, 2010, and immediately said, and that was the Obama administration, as if Obama pushed this through like this was something his government did on purpose, except the exact opposite is true.
Exactly. He acted like it was legislation from Obama and the Democrats, and Obama signed it and was like, sure, happy that we have more money in politics now, even though Obama was out there advocating against this decision. He said out loud the Supreme Court fucked up with this decision.
Citizens United was not a law that Obama passed. It was a Supreme Court decision, and not just any Supreme Court decision. It was a 5-4 ruling where the 5 conservative justices voted to strike down the existing campaign finance restrictions, and the 4 liberal justices voted against it.
It's that old saying, right? What was it, Colbert who said it? Reality has a well-known liberal bias. I mean, I'd like to tweak it slightly to reality has a well-known leftist bias, but point still stands. Yeah, the conservatives are reliably always on the wrong side of shit. And there's Joe Rogan slurping up that nonsense 24/7 and acting like they're the heroes.
And Rogan didn't even realize who the plaintiff actually was. The case was brought by a conservative political advocacy group called Citizens United, who wanted the right to fund and broadcast an anti-Hillary Clinton documentary during an election cycle. And it was Obama's own Department of Justice through the FEC that was the defendant in the fucking case. Obama's administration was the side arguing to keep the restrictions on corporate money in politics, and they lost. Not only that, Obama was so pissed off about the decision that just 6 days later, he made the unprecedented move of calling it out during his State of the Union address with the Supreme Court justices sitting right there in the front fucking row.
And by the way, that was a scandal at the time. It was a scandal that Obama directly called out the Supreme Court justices with them sitting in the front row during his State of the Union address. At the time, not MAGA because it wasn't MAGA at the time, but the Republicans on Fox News, how dare you, that you have breached decorum. Can you imagine? Meanwhile, think about how fucking tame that is compared to today with the shit that Trump does. But he was right on the substance, and he was making a substantive point. You motherfucker just allowed unlimited corruption.
Justices watching that the decision would open the floodgates for special interests, including foreign corporations, to spend without limit in elections, and Justice Alito was caught on camera shaking his fucking head. And we all know who Obama meant when he said foreign corporations. So Rogan has the entire thing backwards. He's
100%, man. That's exactly right. By the way, has Rogan even mentioned he supported no new wars Donald Trump? Donald Trump was the only U.S. president in modern history that was stupid enough to fall for fucking Netanyahu's bullshit when he was saying, you got to attack Iran for me, right? Netanyahu ran the exact same play on Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton told him to fuck off. Ran it on fucking Joe Biden, Barack Obama. Even George W. Bush said we're not going to war with Iran. Barack Obama said not only are we not going to war with Iran, they tried to, the Israelis said, oh, our planes are on the tarmac about to attack Iran. Do you want to come with us or not? You had Obama, his administration said to them, no, not only are we not going to attack Iran, you're also not going to attack Iran. Turn those motherfucking planes off, okay? They all tried to fucking dupe U.S. presidents and dog walk them into this war. Every other president said no, except who? Joe Rogan's bestie, who he texts with on a regular basis, who he giggles with on a regular basis. So, no new wars. Donald Trump is the biggest fucking warmonger. Did Rogan even say anything against it when Trump carpet bombed Caracas and killed a grandmother, Rosa Gonzalez, and fucking kidnapped Maduro and started stealing the oil and the gold from Venezuela? Did he talk about that? That, hey, we rolled the clock back to old school imperialism here and colonialism, and we're just being thieves and robbing natural resources, and Trump's putting it in a private bank account that only he controls? Did he say a single fucking word about that? Did he say a single fucking word against the mass murder of random fishermen in fishing boats in the Caribbean and on the Pacific? Did he say a single word about that? What a sick joke. Now, by the way, and Aaron Brown told me this the other day. Shout out to him, because he was saying he was watching Joe, and Joe and one of his guests, they were talking about corruption. And Joe starts talking about Nancy Pelosi and Hunter Biden and Joe Biden and their corruption. And then, there's a weird pause. There's an awkward pause. And Aaron Brown goes, it's I know, they know, everybody knows, we know that they know, and Rogan refuses to go there when it comes to Donald Trump. Even though motherfucking Joe Biden and Hunter Biden and Nancy Pelosi look like absolute angels, look like Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts next to the Trump crime family, Rogan refuses to go there. He will never tell his audience that Donald Trump and his crime family were caught doing hundreds of millions of dollars in insider trading, dwarfing Nancy Pelosi. He will not talk to his audience about the scam shitcoin that Trump ran on his own supporters. Melania also ran it on the MAGA supporters as well. He's not going to talk about World Liberty Financial. He's not going to talk about how Trump pardoned a guy who literally laundered money for Al-Qaeda because that guy bought $100 million in Trump's shitty tokens. Okay? He's not going to talk about, the golf course in Dubai, the golf course in Qatar, the hotel in Dubai, the fucking executive branch club, $500,000 to join for pay-to-play corruption, the pay-to-play pardon scheme, which everybody knows now is a pay-to-play pardon scheme, the $400 million plane from Qatar, the Saudi Arabia money that came to him for the live golf events before that shit went fucking belly up, okay? Shit. These people stole from a kids' cancer charity in New York, and now they can't legally run a charity in New York anymore. Trump with his scam university and all this shit made billions of dollars off the White House. You have got to be fucking kidding me. Of all of these ripe stories of rank corruption and self-dealing, and he's got nothing to say about any of it, but motherfucking Nancy Pelosi is still on your mind. Hunter Biden, who sold a bunch of paintings for like 17 cents and a Pop-Tart, that's on your fucking mind. Fuck you. What a fucking scumbag. Jesus Christ. Shout out to Podcast Cringe here for catching this. And God, I just hope, guys, spread it far and wide, man. Spread it far and wide. Joe Rogan should have to answer for fucking up the basic facts of this so egregiously. He should have to answer for this. He should honestly come out and personally apologize to Barack Obama for outright saying that he's the reason for our fucking money in politics problem. When Obama's had a lot of issues, and I've criticized him, rightfully so, many times, but this is one that he got right. Just like he got the Iran deal right, just like he got the Cuba deal right. He got this shit right. And Joe Rogan's out there insinuating he's somehow more corrupt than Trump when Trump fucking dwarfs Obama. Obama looks even better than an angel next to Donald Trump when it comes to this stuff. You got to be fucking kidding me. Everybody needs to stop watching this guy's pathetic podcast. It's total misinformation and disinformation and garbage 24/7. Like I said, you're better off not listening to anything than listening to Rogan at this point.
Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.
You know what's crazy, y'all? You get more truth on the issue of Iran and Israel listening to The View than you get from like listening to almost any U.S. politician talk about this. And that's crazy. That's crazy. So Charlamagne went on The View, and he was asked a very good question here about the Iran so-called peace agreement and about Israel's impact on it. And this is sort of, he drops a brutal-ass truth bomb here. Okay, let's listen. Here we go.
Why do you think Republicans are finally speaking out on something regarding Trump? And two, is he setting Vance up, you think, to take the fall? What's going on here?
Man, sometimes all of this feels like a big psyop. Like they all got into a room and they said, hey, let's do some wrestling around this Iran situation. And the reason I say that is because, until you hear what Israel has to say, it does not matter.
He's sort of spitting when he says that. That's kind of true. And look, this is one of the theories I floated, that in the U.S., our government wants to make sure to pawn the blame off for Hormuz being shut in the Iran war. Our government is now trying to pawn the blame off of themselves, knowing it's about to get worse. So what do? Well, you can create this whole kayfabe situation, this pro-wrestling situation, where Vance and Trump, like, we're going to blame Israel and go, yeah, we're standing up to you, Israel. You're the ones who are the real cause of all this, right? And what do they do in Israel? The Israeli government goes, oh, we're being held back by Trump and Vance and the Americans, and like, how dare they get in our way? They're the problem. They're the cause of all the problems because they won't let us finish the job, right? And so this way, what they're trying to do, the Israeli government is trying to get the Israeli public off their ass, right? Pawn the blame off on the U.S. The U.S. government is trying to get the American public to blame the Israeli government instead of them, right? And so, yeah, it does sort of feel like it's all this one big psyop. It's this one big pro wrestling thing to, like, knowing things are going to get worse, right? What do? It's not us. Hey, us in MAGA? Oh, we were always. J.D. Vance was out here leading the charge against the war. We're against the war. We had the peace deal. We're on top of it. They ruined it. It's the Israelis that ruined it. Meanwhile, they all know, they're all in the same boat. They all were making the same decisions. They were all for this illegal war of aggression. All of them. All right, let's keep going. Here we go.
I say that is because, until you hear what Israel has to say, it does not matter. And that's just the truth to me. America is not in control of this situation, and I don't feel like they ever have been. Whenever they do come to some type of peace agreement, Israel comes and says, no, that's not what we want.
Now, here's where he's wrong, actually, because the U.S. is in control of the situation. All Trump would have to do, it's not difficult. All he has to do is call Netanyahu and say, if you defy me at all on this, I mean what I'm saying here about the ceasefire and about a deal. If you defy me at all, I'm cutting off the money and I'm cutting off the weapons. And that's it. You're on your own. Good luck trying to make up that difference. You know you cannot function without U.S. money and U.S. weapons. You know that. Then they have to stop. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They would have to stop. They'd have to withdraw all the way from Lebanon, right? They'd have to, sign whatever fucking agreement with Iran saying you get to control the Strait of Hormuz, you get all your money back, you get a fucking reparations for us attacking you. So this is where he's wrong. The U.S. 100% is in control of the situation, but they would have to cut off the money and the weapons, right? So in other words, what I'm saying here feeds the logic of it's all kayfabe, right? It's all kayfabe. It's all a fake fight unless and until they cut off the money and the weapons. They're all in on it unless and until Trump decides I'm cutting off the money and cutting off the weapons.
Israel comes and says, no, that's not what we want.
Yeah, but Trump keeps telling us that Netanyahu does exactly what he wants.
Nah, it don't seem like that. It seems like,
Right.
it seems like Trump is Netanyahu's puppet. So, the conversation should be Israel, Iran, and America. And until Israel and Iran come to an agreement, I don't think that there's going to be an agreement.
Now, to argue against what I was just saying, though, Trump is controlled by the endless amounts of Israel money that he's taken, Israel lobby money. He's taken hundreds of millions of dollars. I mean, he is Miriam Adelson's loyal soldier. Not only that, as we all fear, there is Epstein blackmail out there on Trump, and Epstein worked with intelligence agencies, including Mossad, right? So that's also a possibility that, Netanyahu can say to him, well, yeah, we could stop the war, but if we do, just prepare because the KD Johnson tape is coming out. Just prepare because horrific crimes you committed with a little girl are going to come out, right? And in that scenario, what do you do if you're Trump? I mean, I know what Trump would do. He would panic and cave immediately and say, yeah, well, let's continue the war. I don't give a shit,
Iran come to an agreement. I don't think that there's going to be an agreement.
Fascinating. So I love listening to you guys.
These are the conversations people should actually be having, and this is not the conversation that you see. I mean, I can't tell you, is there a single time that mainstream media has had the conversation? Is Trump blackmailed? Is there Epstein blackmail out there on Trump that Mossad is using and can hang over his head? Is there blackmail that other governments can use and hang over his head as well? Have they talked about that? Have they talked about the nefarious influence of money in politics and the Israel lobby and Miriam Adelson, and previously it was Sheldon Adelson, and all this money, hundreds of millions of dollars, plus the AIPAC money, plus the other kinds of Israel lobby money. There's all these different ways that they buy loyalty effectively, right? And we know Trump is for sale, the highest bidder. We know he's owned by the military-industrial complex. We know all the talk about being anti-war was horseshit. He increased the Pentagon budget every single year. Okay, the military-industrial complex is getting theirs. There's no doubt about it. The media's never talked about that. And look, when it comes to the Democrats, unfortunately, some of the resisting they've been doing is resisting from Trump's right, where they go out there and say, this peace deal is a surrender document, and we're against it for that reason. No, my reaction is, it is a surrender document, but that's good. We should surrender. We were wrong. When you illegally attack a country and carpet bomb their schools and hospitals, the correct thing to do is to surrender and apologize and give them back their own money and pay them some reparations. That's the correct thing to do, okay? But, yeah, man, you can't write home about this thing and say this thing is over until it's actually fucking over. And we've gone back and forth a bunch of times. At this point, the Strait of Hormuz is open to an extent where about a third of the traffic is going through to what it was like compared to the pre-war levels. And so we're still in the woods here. It is still murky as hell. But this was a great points by Charlamagne, and it's kind of crazy that The View has better stuff on this than almost anywhere else in media. Mind-boggling.
Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.
All right, y'all. I'm so done with this conversation. I want to bang my head against a brick wall. Okay? I can't with this. You need to snap off my femur and hit me in the face with it repeatedly until I go unconscious. Okay? This is how, I can't with this. Take a look. Trump official says U.S. control of Greenland could bring back all-you-can-eat shrimp. This sounds like a joke. This is literally not a joke. Tom Dans was appointed by Trump as the chair of the United States Arctic Research Commission in December. When I met him for lunch in Washington earlier this year, he declined to speak further on the record, except to articulate a narrow, symbiotic vision for the future. Quote, my view is that the United States could take all the seafood Greenland could produce and cut out the middleman and keep it from China. And you could bring back all-you-can-eat shrimp at Red Lobster. I have literally never seen anything that is closer to actual Burger Reich than this. This is Burger Reich shit. This is what we're talking about. When I first saw this tweet, I was like, nah, they're trolling. This is fake. The tweet was, one reason the U.S. is considering acquiring Greenland is to secure access to seafood that could potentially bring back unlimited shrimp at Red Lobster, U.S. official to The New Yorker. When I first read this, I was like, nope, that's not, nope. Refusing to believe it. That's nonsense. Then I would keep scrolling social media, and this tweet or a similar tweet like it would keep popping up where people are like, bro, it's real. Bro, it actually happened. Bro, they're not kidding. Look, here's the passage. And then this one, what I just read for you, is from the New Yorker on this. They're not kidding. In the same way that Trump kidnapped the leader of Venezuela illegally and started stealing their gold and their oil and selling the oil and taking the hundreds of millions of dollars and putting it in a private bank account, in the same way he just like literally stole a country and started jacking their natural resources. Now they're saying like, let's do the same thing with Greenland when it comes to seafood. Let's do that. We are a country of fucking pirates. We are a roving gang of thieves and pirates. We are a bunch of criminal imperialists and colonialists and dead-eyed psychopaths. We do not give the single slightest fuck about constitutional rights or human rights or international law. I have never seen anything like this in all of my days. Now the mask is off. I remember back in the day when we used to at least pretend, like, we're engaged in a civilizing mission to make sure everybody has freedom and democracy. And people will look at it and go, yeah, you know, I might not agree with this war, but it's a noble thing, you know? Now they're like, we're going to get all-you-can-eat shrimp by stealing all of your seafood. And maybe we'll bomb some of your schools while we're at it. And you look at it and you go, oh my days, how the fuck is this even possible? How is this even possible? So there's a Trump official on the record saying this shit, bro. I could not make this shit up if I tried. So now, and by the way, I don't know about you, man. I lost count of all the fucking countries that we either attacked or threatened to attack in Trump's second term, right? I mean, we already know he bombed fishing boats off the coast of Venezuela. You know, there were people who were from Trinidad and Tobago were murdered. Some Colombians were murdered. They did the regime change in Venezuela. But also, he's threatened Greenland and Panama and Canada and Cuba and Mexico. He already bombed Yemen and Somalia and Nigeria and Ecuador randomly. And of course, the war in Iran. He said he wants to reinvade Afghanistan in order to take back Bagram Air Base. He hasn't done that one yet, but it's one of the things he says. And as he's continuing to bomb a new country like every other day, he goes, I solved 8 wars. I was like, I need a Nobel Peace Prize. I got a FIFA Peace Prize. Give me a Nobel Peace Prize. And it's like, hey, dog, you keep murdering people. You keep killing people. You keep bombing new countries. It's like you wake up and you throw a dart at a map and you go, all right, let's attack them now. Like, that's where we're at, dog. And that's to say nothing of the first term, which was also fucking horrible, increasing drone strikes over 400%, keeping us in Iraq and Afghanistan, bombing Syria and Somalia, trying the coup in Venezuela and failing. Like, what are we even doing here? Now the all-you-can-eat shrimp is one explanation, but we've also seen this one. Greenland Freedom City, rich donors push Trump for tech hub up north. So this is the other scary thing. Peter Thiel has basically been begging for something like this. He already did it. Where did he do it? Honduras, I think it was. I think it was Honduras. He already got like an island off the coast of Honduras and tried to make it this like libertarian paradise, failed miserably, right? Now he fled to Argentina again. It's like he causes all these problems, then he dips, right? And he's a parasite, sucks the host dry, then he dips. But Peter Thiel wants Greenland. They also want it to build data centers because you have the natural cooling because it's a very cold climate. They've said that as well. And I remember the person they put in as like the ambassador or something is like a Thiel guy. And when they put him in, they had a very, cryptic quote of like, it's all going according to plan. In other words, like the wheels are in motion to steal Greenland. And then Trump keeps, even to this day, just last week, he posted a threat to Greenland with Trump's face in it, said, hello, Greenland. And it was very clearly like an allusion to maybe we'll fucking steal you. Maybe we'll go back to that. You have NATO and Europe. They were literally planning to blow up the runways at the airports in Greenland to block the U.S. from going in there and stealing it. I'm not kidding. They were drawing up actual battle plans against the U.S. Our allies were, because Trump was so freakish in how he was threatening them. And he's still doing it. And there's another reason. Let the AI tech demons, right, who are creating the technology to steal everybody's job and robbing everybody blind, okay, let them have their way. Let them rape and pillage and loot this country and, build data centers and make it a freedom city. I mean, this is out of this world. They basically want to make it like a private country club. You also have this. Trump allies renew Greenland and Canada takeover talk. This was June 3rd. June 3rd. That's the beginning of this fucking month. And they renewed. Yeah, maybe we'll take Greenland. Maybe we'll take Canada, or we'll at least move the border with Canada to give us more territory. These people are out of fucking control. At what point do you look in the mirror and do you say, Netanyahu and Israel and the U.S. and Trump, we are the new Nazis. This is a new Nazi regime. That's what it is. When you are this hell-bent on territorial expansion and stealing resources and demagoguing against minority communities like immigrants, like trans people, at what point do you just go, yeah, this is just Nazi shit? Like, this is just Nazi shit. We're living through history again, and so many idiots in this country think, oh, it could never happen here. That could never be us, as they're literally shoving people into concentration camps, right? As 4,000 people are missing from, because of ICE, as at least 40 people have died in ICE custody, as we bomb a new country every other week, we attack their schools and shit, as the worst shit ever happens at the Epstein files protecting, pedophile elites. As all that shit happens, no, it couldn't be us. We can never be us. Well, what if it is? What if it actually is? It's disturbing. The DSA takeover of this country cannot happen fast enough. We have to nip this shit in the bud. It is so out of control.
Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.
All right, bro, here we go again, y'all. Here we go again. You cannot make this stuff up. As you all know, Kristi Noem's husband, Brian, he has a wee bit of an issue. And that issue is he cannot stop putting on big old gigantic knockers and jacking off while wearing those big-ass knockers. Okay? I don't know what, he's got this kink or this fetish, whatever the fuck you want to call it. He loves to wear some big-ass titties and jerk his tiny little pee-pee and have a dominatrix say to him, you've been a bad boy. You want to be my little bimbo slut? And Brian's like, yeah, I want to be your little bimbo slut. And they're like, Brian, you got some big old titties there, don't you? He's like, yeah, I love my big old titties. I love my big old titties. This is what this man does. Meanwhile, Kristi Noem's, over there torturing an immigrant in the corner. That's what she does to get off, right? But look at this. In The Sun, shock texts. Are they really shocking? Dominatrix says Kristi Noem's husband said, I've been a bad boy, in messages sent after cross-dressing fetish revealed. I love this because normally when you have some like massive public shaming incident like this, they at least take a little break. It's at least like, you get at least like a month of good behavior before they slip back in to the old habits, okay? They say Kristi Noem's husband allegedly sent a dominatrix a message saying, I've been a really bad boy, weeks after his reported cross-dressing fetish was exposed and while he was reportedly in a rehab program. Rehab. I'm going to rehab. Doctor, help me. I can't stop putting in some big-ass titties. Brian Noem, husband of the former Homeland Security Secretary, is accused of continuing to contact a dominatrix, Shai Sotomayor, despite mounting public scrutiny over claims about his online activities. So here's Shai right here. You'll notice that Shai also has some big old bitties in this bitch, which is why, this is what I had a hard time wrapping my mind around this particular Brian Noem fetish, because I'm like, okay, wait, so is the thing that turns you on the fact that you're wearing the big-ass titties? Or is it the women, the dominatrix women you're talking to with their big-ass titties? Or do both of you have to have some big-ass titties? And are you getting off to your own titties or their titties? Like, how exactly does this work? Because, I don't know, parts of it I'm like, so what exactly is the hook for him? Like, what's the thing? Anyway, maybe I shouldn't want to get into this guy's mind. But they continue here. Sotomayor made the fresh claims on the latest episode of the podcast Uncloseted with Spencer McNaughton, released on Tuesday. According to the dominatrix, Noem messaged her on May 17th, allegedly writing, I've been a really bad boy. The message was reportedly sent more than a month after explosive reports claimed Noem had a long-running fascination with bimbofication and cross-dressing. Hey, all the bimbofication lovers out there, put in the comment section what exactly the thing is that you guys are getting off to here. Again, is it his own titties? Is it their titties? Is it both the titties? Is it, is he secretly trans? Well, more on that in a second, too, by the way. They say, these included allegations that he posed in photos wearing oversized prosthetic breasts. Sotomayor alleged Noem continued trying to contact her through WhatsApp after the text message, despite reports he had entered Pure Desire Ministries, a religious recovery program aimed at tackling unwanted behaviors. Oh, no. This reminds me of, this is like when Michelle Bachmann's husband, who's clearly a closet case and is clearly super gay, he had this like anti-gay agency or something where to get the gay away from people, he would put the man on his lap and rock back and forth, and they would pray the gay away. And it's like, I don't know. I think that might be the gayest shit I've ever seen in my life. Like, I'll show you how to get the gay away. Quick, take your dick out. Quick, we need to get the gay out of here. Maybe if you suck the gay out of my penis, it'll work. No, come on, man. What are we doing here? This is wild. Again, I want to repeat the name. Pure Desire Ministries. Oh, yeah, I'm sure that the person running that is totally on the fucking up and up. That person's really helping you out. Sotomayor said she responded, "You obviously are very sick. You need help." She then allegedly sent him a PayPal invoice seeking $4,500 she claims he still owes her. According to Sotomayor, the message was read but never answered. The dominatrix claims she maintained an online relationship with Noem spanning 9 years, and estimates he spent $35,000 and $45,000 on her during that time. She alleged he repeatedly used business phones and accounts to contact her and even paid through PayPal using his real name. Oh my God. Sotomayor has also recounted a moment she claims almost exposed the relationship. During a phone call with Noem, she allegedly heard a woman in the background ask, "Who are you talking to?" Sotomayor believes the voice belonged to Kristi Noem. "It was a normal conversation. All I hear is, 'Who are you talking to?' she said." All right, let me just point out real quick, I do not buy for a second that Kristi Noem didn't know about this shit. I think for sure she fucking knew about this shit. I think they have an agreement, right? I think she knows all the stuff that he's into, and she's like, I'll look the other way. And understand, this is what the uber conservative types, the uber religious types, this is who they are, bro. This is what they do. They all the shit that they proselytize against is all of the shit that they're 100% into. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Meanwhile, any liberal or lefty couple that's out there going, hey, teach their own, you guys do whatever the fuck you want. We're vanilla as a motherfucker, bro. We're like Leave It to Beaver in this bitch. We got the white picket fence, the 3 kids, that dog and the cat, and it's all standard shit. But these Republicans who are like, I'm definitely against gayness, I'm definitely against transness, I'm definitely against premarital sex. The second people look away, they're like, oh, cock. Like this is who they are, bro. This is who they are. So here's one of the bimbofication ones that he's talking to. Here's Brian Noem and Kristi Noem here. The dominatrix said she was frightened by the incident because of Kristi Noem's senior government role at the time. She's the head of Weiss, Sotomayor said. The latest allegations come after claims that Noem expressed a desire to live as a woman under the name Crystal. Oh, my days. Oh, my days. Oh, Lord. According to materials reviewed by Uncloseted Media, he allegedly used she, her pronouns during conversations with Sotomayor and told her, quote, I will be your trans girl. When asked directly whether he wanted to be a woman, Sotomayor claims Noem replied, I think I do. She alleges he discussed breast implants, facial feminization procedures, hormone therapy, and styling lessons, which she claims went beyond fantasy. Sotomayor said he either doesn't know when to quit or this is a real issue for him. Guys, I don't understand. Why would you go through your life living a lie, bro? What's the point? Leave Kristi Noem. She's a fucking fascist torturer anyway. Go to West Hollywood, be trans, be yourself, get all the medical procedures, get all the treatment, right? Like, why live a lie for your entire life? Life is short. Be yourself, bro. You know you want to be trotting out there in the streets with assless chaps with some big old fake titties. Be yourself. Like, what is this? What? Like, I don't understand. Like, your default perspective as a person should be, of course I'm going to live as myself. But these people, they're so backwards, they're so twisted with their stupid ideology that they're like, no, I will be the straightest man that anybody's ever seen of all time. Nobody's ever been more straight than me. And I will be cis as cis can be. Yes, look at me. I'm married to a woman. And she's a powerful woman. It's like, relax, bro. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Just stop being a hater. Stop fucking, being in favor of policies that are disrespectful and ruin the lives of people like you, right? Just fucking, oh God, grow up. I hate these people so much. A representative for Kristi Noem previously said she was devastated and blindsided by reports surrounding her husband's alleged activities. Sure. The U.S. Sun has reached out to Brian Noem's representatives for comment on the latest allegations. We've reached out to Brian Noem for comment on his big-ass titties. Oh, he's secretly trans. He's secretly trans. Bro, just please go be yourself. Please stop hating on trans people and gay people. Please let people live as themselves. Jesus Christ, man. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. Imagine being this miserable and living this much of a lie, hating your life so much that you put in some big-ass titties and go talk to dominatrix and says, I'm a bad boy on a daily basis, jacking your little dick. Fucking pathetic.
Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.
So as you all know, POLYMARKET sucks balls. Kalshi sucks balls. All these prediction markets, it's trash. It's just legalized gambling is what it is. And by the way, they rig the deck completely so that if you actually win on a somewhat regular basis, they'll just ban you. So it's rigged. It's like you're only allowed to do it if you suck and you keep losing, and it's like a total drain on you and your finances. So it should be banned. I mean, in all seriousness, it should be banned. Look, I'm not totally anti-gambling. For most of our lives, it was, yeah, you can gamble. You got to go to this one place in the middle of the fucking desert in Vegas, and, it's a pain in the ass. But if you really want to gamble, go jump through these hoops and do that. And I'm okay with things that are gambling but still have skill involved, like poker, for example. I'm a poker player myself. But anything like that, I mean, it's so degenerate, and it's actually like ruining everything. This sports betting is ruining everything. Now you can't trust anything because it's like, how do I know this hasn't been rigged 1,000 ways to Sunday? You have basketball players throwing a game and faking injuries to try to make sure they stay at the under, and people make a lot of money. It's horrible. Well, anyway, here is CoffeeZilla, and he has this video, huge POLYMARKET scandal, and he's going to break it down for us. This is crazy, bro. In a world that made sense, this would immediately lead to a massive investigation and criminal charges, and they would be shut the fuck down in a world that made sense. Listen, here we go.
Today I talked to two journalists who ran two massive investigations you'll hear about almost nowhere else. The Wall Street Journal, Politico, both talking about how POLYMARKET has been running deceptive ads. They're hyping up the odds of your success, many times not disclosing that they are paid to do so, and even worse, a lot of the trades are completely fake. Not only that, these investigations heavily imply that POLYMARKET knew and facilitated a lot of this deception, even going so far as to create a fake website for these people to put their fake bets on. It's a bombshell allegations, and I really was like, well, why aren't more people talking about it? And then I realized, oh yeah, because so many people are on the take from the prediction market industry. They aren't exactly unbiased sources. They're making money from this industry. They have a vested interest in making it look as good as possible.
That's so true. They've bought so many fucking influencers and online voices that you don't hear about this in many places. Shout out to CoffeeZilla, man. Like I said, shout out to everybody out there in this media space that's actually, making money in an ethical way. I have never done an ad read. I never will do an ad read. I'm very proud of that. Breaking Point's exact same thing. The Vanguard also has a similar model to what I have. Citations Needed with Adam Johnson is another one that they even go further than me, I think. I think I allow the default ads on YouTube. I think they don't even do that. So just shout out to everybody who has some semblance of a moral code or ethics where, they make sure that, hey, this is a pure thing here and it's about the actual content. I'm not in this just to make a quick buck by getting money from some fucking fuck-ass, evil-ass company. And that's what a lot of these people do, so you're not going to hear about this in many places.
You have huge celebrities like Rick Rubin, like Timothy Chalamet. You going to hear about it from the news? Oh, sorry. Well, CNN actually has a prediction market partnership with Kalshi. You going to hear about it from Fox News? Oh, no, actually, they have a prediction market partnership with Kalshi once again. Are you going to hear about it from the Wall Street Journal? Well, actually, yes, but the Dow Jones is actually partnered also with POLYMARKET. This is a fun fact that was brought up to me by one of the journalists who wrote the story as a line of disclosure they had to make, actually.
My name is Caitlin Ostroff. I'm a reporter for the Wall Street Journal, and we just did a piece on how POLYMARKET is paying for deceptive bets to be shown on your social media feed. And even the Wall Street Journal, our parent company, Dow Jones, is a partner of POLYMARKET.
Caitlin, I'm sorry about your future layoff. I'm sorry they're going to fire your ass, because they're almost certainly going to fire your ass because you're doing some real shit here, and they're not about real stuff. You know what I'm saying? They're going to try to protect that bottom line ski no matter what ski.
That is a fun line of disclosure that we get to put in literally everything we do. It's the highlight of my day.
Yeah, what a disaster. You run this incredible piece of hard-hitting journalism only to find out your parent company has a partnership with that company. Now, credit to them for reporting it. It's a huge bombshell. Obviously, POLYMARKET is probably not happy with it at all.
No, I guarantee you, the higher-ups at the Wall Street Journal and the higher-ups at POLYMARKET are fucking furious.
Basically, the central finding is all around not only fake bets, but all these videos that were going out showing people making a ton of money. It turns out it was happening a lot of the times on a fake website that POLYMARKET set up. So I'm going to have you watch a few of these videos and notice the URL.
Bro, what? Will Trump say April Fool's this week? 4%? Bro, what?
Want to be accused of April Fool's?
Yes!
Trump say McDonald's in January.
Good deal as usual. But you know, in the old days, McDonald's...
Now, there's a lot more videos just like those. The general format is they make a long shot bet, get paid out a ton of money. Isn't that so wonderful? And if you look at the URL, it very clearly says POLYMARKET.
Let me also just point out, I love how people have the nerve to say, oh, this isn't gambling. That's not gambling. I bet money that the president will say McDonald's. That's not gambling. I've never seen not only gambling, but a more degenerate version of gambling. The only way you can actually make sure you win on this front is to have insider knowledge, which would be illegal. It'd be insider trading. Oh, my days.
Or at least, well, that's what I think that says. I'm zooming in. It looks like POLYMARKET, but the Wall Street Journal says it's a different website entirely.
We have spoken to people who have told us that POLYMARKET created this website. That this website, POLYMARKET, was made by POLYMARKET.
Wait, you said I didn't just have an aneurysm. I just heard POLYMARKET. What?
This
what
is at least what
about?
we have called it. This is the so. POLYMARKET has created this program where they have told college-age creators to film content promoting the website, and as part of that, they should film themselves making trades. Now, to film these trades, POLYMARKET, our reporting shows, created a fake website called POYMARKET, or at least that's what we are calling it, but it's POIY Market. And when the I is capitalized, it looks exactly like the real thing in terms of the URL.
Straight to prison. Straight to motherfucking prison. This is fraud on top of fraud within fraud with a side of fraud.
But when you look at the actual website where the trades are being placed, there's a bunch of discrepancies that we found, which led us to realize that a lot of these bets that are being placed weren't actually on POLYMARKET's websites. They're on this fake website that POLYMARKET gave creators access to go and make what looked like real bets.
Guys, to state the obvious, I don't know who thought of this. One, diabolical. Two, I mean, dude, I cannot tell. I spelled, by the way, one with an I, one with an L, but I forgot which one I spelled with an L. And I literally looking at it right now, I just wrote this. I can't tell the difference between the two. Those are not the same URL. And that was the cheat code they were basically using, was giving the creators the one where it looks like, you know, when you're taking the cell phone cam of your browser, it's going to show the actual browser. And so it looks like, oh, POLYMARKET, you're actually at their secret POLYMARKET.com, where they were running a simulated version of the website to do fake trades for fake bets. So it looks like they could get rich. Which is fraud, by the way. I mean, that's my personal opinion. I mean, I don't think you can just deceive people into thinking, oh, that's a real product video when it's
Well, sorry to steal from you here, CoffeeZilla, but crime is legal now. So, is it fraud? Sure. Does that matter? Probably not. Probably not. I mean, not with this regime. Not with this regime intact.
Complete fake. Oh, it's so easy to get rich, like all these guys trading. Look at all these college-age people like you. Get in our app early, right, while you're young, while we can get you hooked into our platform. And actually, the truth of the financial impact of these trades is much different than what they tell you.
Yeah, there was 118 bets that appeared like the person won in the video, and more than half of those would have lost in real.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! How many ways can one commit fraud? How many ways, y'all? You tell me.
Real life. And if you look at the amount that people were supposed to win when that was paid out, if you replicated all of those trades, you would have lost $166,000.
This is not gambling, bro. This is perfectly legal. This is totally on the up and up. Now, by the way, the Trump regime is massively invested in these fucking prediction markets. And so there's no way they're going to regulate them or fucking go after them for crimes they've obviously already committed.
So it turns out, if you actually did all these get-rich-quick bets that are looking like many times they're actually paying out on these social media videos, you'd actually be in over $100,000 of debt. Which is, more than a lot of colleges get you into, which is crazy, because college is the big debt trap. And it turns out that these people who are trying to present this college side hustle are presenting you with an even worse debt trap. It's also, hey, why not spin up a gambling addiction while you're at it?
Everything in this country is a scam. Have you guys noticed that? Our nation has been so hyper-focused on like rugged individualism for so many years, and we've neglected the collective. And when you take that to its logical conclusion, the rugged individualism with the lack of concern for others, you end up with a nation of scammers. And like everybody's scamming everybody. And they feel, well, hey, if everything's bullshit and everybody's fucked anyway, I might as well get mine. That's the mindset. And that's how you get all these influencers pushing this shit, knowing it's illegal and it's unethical and there's all these problems with it. They don't care. Hey, I'm going to get mine.
And of course, the reason to spin up that gambling addiction, the possibility of great riches, was a farce. It was a smokescreen of advertising. Now, maybe you're thinking, look, hey, Stephen, get real. This is what casinos do. And that's exactly the point. For a long time, for years now, The playbook of this industry, prediction markets, has been they're not casinos. They are event contracts. They're not gambling. They're hedging economic exposure. It's not a parlay. It's a combo, right? They have all these euphemisms for everything. But it turns out when you actually look under the hood, like they're doing all the same things, including, by the way, the marketing playbook, which, yes, has been fake bet slips, fake influencer winnings, influencers pretending, they're making all this money. And then on the most dastardly side, even the platforms themselves getting involved with the deception, which appears to be what the Wall Street Journal is alleging here. POLYMARKET setting up this poi market itself. Now, maybe you're wondering, well, did they really know? They actually made a statement saying, quote, they're committed to maintaining accurate, fair, and transparent markets. We are part of a rapidly growing industry and constantly evaluating ways to improve how we're engaging and earning the trust of our audience. The company says it plans to conduct a comprehensive audit of active promotional content. Guys, they're going to investigate themselves.
So they're trying to make it seem like, bro, these rogue influencers are doing rogue things. No, bitch, y'all set that shit up. Fuck you.
But now's where we turn to the Politico story.
I'm Maya Kaufman. I'm a reporter for Politico, and I wrote about how paid influencers are hyping POLYMARKET's odds.
This was, once again, about a lot of undisclosed promotions. This time, instead of college students, it was a lot of progressive and conservative commentators that they caught on the take, many times undisclosed promotions. But what's worse about this one is who's doing the paying. It turns out it's the company's chief marketing officer, Matthew Madaber, who used a personal PayPal account to send money to content creators. Now, why does it matter that the CMO is getting involved with particularly paying people? Well, again, they claim we're trying to improve trust. We're going to do a comprehensive audit. Well, that all has to imply that they didn't know about this fake website, right? At the highest level, oh, this is just some rogue intern somewhere. So what does it look like when the CMO is involved?
We found that he was using a personal PayPal account to send money to all kinds of influencers, and we were able to verify the identities of about 24 influencers who all combined were receiving hundreds of thousands of dollars of payments from this PayPal.
Not disclosed. Like many of these people, their audiences had no idea that there were these posts, and they didn't know they were basically paid to promote either the trustworthiness of POLYMARKET, to promote certain mayoral bets, to promote, different event contracts, whatever you want to call them. But, it's kind of funny. The thing that I've been thinking about is these are companies that purport to be about truth, right? They say they are better engines for truth. And yet this is deception right at the heart of getting in the front door.
Yeah, the FTC has rules around advertising disclosure for precisely this reason. They want people who are seeing paid promotions to know that these are paid promotions. And our data team did an analysis of the posts from all of the influencers that we identified. And during a 14-month span, we found that they posted at least 490 times on X without disclosures about POLYMARKET.
So, yeah, the CMO didn't notice that. The CMO didn't notice all these people he's paying from his personal PayPal are not disclosing its paid ad. And so POLYMARKET knew, hey, it's better engagement if these people don't say they're paid by us. It looks better as some organic thing, right? So that's what you see over and over again. Once again, the casino playbook. But forever, they've been denying the allegations of. We see it time and time again. And these two investigations brought it all together. You have the fake betting website, and then you have the CMO directly involved with a lot of these partnerships that are not disclosing these advertisements. Now, of course, I don't want to leave you with the impression that POLYMARKET is the only one who might have done activity like this. They're just the most credibly accused right now, to be clear. This industry is extremely competitive. Everyone's trying to jump in, trying to use growth at all costs to start it. The king of steal your idea, Mark Zuckerberg, has recently directed Meta to create a prediction markets app. And Mark Zuckerberg knows a good platform idea for exploiting teens when he sees one. I mean, wow, he must be lights out with this idea. Right now, the New York Times claims users would not wager money, and the apps would probably rely on video game points, although the company has not rolled out the eventual use of real money betting. Let's be honest, we know where this is headed. Even the president himself, Truth Social, I think they're starting a Truth Predict, or they're trying to. You've got the president's son. I believe he's some type of advisor for Kalshi, which the CEO of Kalshi was actually asked about, why would you actually bring on this guy? What experience does he bring? And the answer there is pretty priceless.
Why did you guys make Donald Trump Jr. a strategic advisor?
We have a lot of advisors, and they span across the board, across different functions. But really, this is all about growing this industry, the prediction market industry that a lot of people really believe in.
What kind of advice does he give you?
So it really is, again, about growing prediction markets.
Does he come to meetings? How much do you pay him? What's his role? I mean, this is the son of the president.
We have a lot of advisors.
He's not just any advisor. He has a direct line to White House.
We have a lot of advisors.
Yeah, yeah, the reality is people are going to do anything to grab as much of this market as they can, which is essentially like casinos, but legal in all 50 states and on your phone. I mean, that's basically the pitch. There's obviously going to be a lot of money, and people are willing to kind of do whatever it takes. But of course, that begs the question, well, if that's the case, then we need to rely on regulators in order to stop the excesses of people trying to grab as much money as possible. And, there are rules in place, as Maya, the reporter, actually talked about. There's the FTC guidelines. You are not supposed to promote something and not disclose it. Of course, that's what a lot of people have done. So I wanted to know, do these reporters believe that something's actually going to happen here?
We did ask the FTC about what we found. We presented a summary of our reporting, and we asked, is this something that would fall under their rules? And they didn't respond to any of my follow-up emails. So my indication is I really don't have that much insight into what they're thinking about this, if at all.
This country's a fucking joke. This country's a joke. People came after me for saying that your worst Democrat is better than your best Republican. It's because of shit like this. It's because of shit like this. Basic governance, basic regulatory shit. And they're just like, oh, did you just expose an obvious crime or like 78 different crimes tied to this fucking illegal gambling fucking prediction market shit? What is Kalshi? I don't even, POLYMARKET, I never even heard of POLYMARKET, bro. I don't even know what you're talking about, bro. Hey, that's what they're doing. They're doing the, what? You found some crimes? No comment. Come on, man. What the fuck?
Generally, these agencies, if they do have investigations, they're not confirming those to reporters while they're open. But the silence, I think, was pretty deafening when we reached out to them.
Honestly, no idea. It's really weird being a journalist these days, and really at any point in history, because you never quite know what the public reaction will be. I mean, we haven't heard anything specific from the CFTC, but also generally government agencies don't comment on if they were going to do investigations into much of anything. So, if they want to investigate, that is their right, but we haven't heard anything.
Well, at least they're honest. We don't truly know what's going to happen, although personally, I'll just give my opinion. I don't think they're going to be investigated for this. POLYMARKET, I don't think, any of these prediction markets are really going to get meaningfully regulated, and I think that's a bad thing for everyone else. And specifically, I hope this video has shown, if somebody's telling you otherwise, I would ask the question, are you paid? Because even if they didn't disclose it, does it mean they aren't still on the payroll?
Man, I'm worried about this shit with the kids. Like, I'm genuinely worried about it. People are going to there's going to be so many more gambling addicts than there used to be. You used to have to go to Vegas or have a fucking bookie or whatever the fuck. Now it's like, no, you just get it on your phone when you're old enough, just fucking bet like crazy, blow through your money. Like, they're creating a whole bunch of, everybody's already like phone addicted, and they're trying to make everybody addicted to other horrible shit as well, significantly worse shit. And like I said, everything in this country is a scam. And, they're not regulating it. They're feeding more into it. The president and his family are getting wealthy off of the scam artists doing scam shit. So again, in a world that made sense, all these motherfuckers would be in prison. Wouldn't even be a question. But now we literally don't even know if they're investigating it, / they're almost certainly not investigating it. And we're going to have to wait for a Democrat to get power eventually to begin to somewhat even look into this shit. What a fucking nightmare, bro. What a fucking nightmare. The criminals are going 1,000 miles an hour, and the fucking, the good guys are stuck in neutral at the moment. It is a horrible thing to see, but shout out to CoffeeZilla. Shout out to these reporters. They did a phenomenal job, but what a devastating, devastating story. All right, guys, that's the show, man. I love you all very much. As always, you know the drill. Everybody subscribe to the channel. You can also support the show on Patreon, link below. Sign up for Crystal Kyle and Friends on Substack, and go sub to Corin's World. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace out.
Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.
What's up, y'all? Happy Friday. I hope everybody out there is having an awesome, awesome day. It is hot as balls out here, y'all. It is like 90 some odd degrees. There's not even a hint of wind. I feel like I'm sitting in a sauna. So I'm probably going to sweat bullets shortly. And just bear with me, y'all. Just bear with me sweating like a pig. Can't help it. Got a lot of breaking news here to get to. So let's go ahead and start with this. The Supreme Court, y'all. The Supreme Court is completely and utterly out of control. They are unhinged. They are absolutely ruining this country day after day. I wish I was kidding. I'm not kidding at all. Shout out to my friend Josiah, Pondering Politics. Check out his YouTube channel. He said this to me a while ago, and he's 100% correct. He told me the number one issue we have to deal with is the Supreme Court, because if we don't,
everything we do doesn't matter. We could pass something that's good policy, that's constitutionally allowed, that's intelligent, and the court would still just lie and say, nope, that's unconstitutional, and we are now striking it down. So this is just a crisis, the likes of which I can't even put into words. This court needs to be dealt with, okay? It needs to be dealt with. We need to come up with a code of ethics and impeach the justices who violate it, which is like quite literally all of the conservative ones. We need to pack the fucking court. I'm open to any and all solutions, radical or not, in order to rein in these judicial supremacists and extremists, because that's what they are. They're judicial supremacists and extremists. They have massively overreached and gone beyond the scope of their powers, and they're doing it because they're beholden to big money and MAGA and the Republican Party, and it's humiliating and embarrassing, and it is quite literally destroying this country. So, the Supreme Court ruled in favor of the Trump regime and their bid to end deportation protections for Syrian and Haitian immigrants, telling Syrian and Haitian immigrants to go fuck themselves. A decision that is so severe and so extreme that even the Republican Congressman Mike Lawler came out and said, yeah, I kind of disagree with this because these people definitely have a claim to protected status, because I don't know if you've seen Haiti at the moment, but it's kind of rough. You're going to send them back to that situation with no concern whatsoever? Like, I guess the law doesn't matter anymore. I guess following the rules doesn't matter anymore. And quite literally, it doesn't. Quite literally, it doesn't. In fact, the Supreme Court also sided with the Trump regime's defense of government authority to curb asylum claim processing at the U.S.-Mexico border ports of entry. So in other words, what they're saying there is the U.S. government can basically ignore and dismiss and swat aside and sweep under the rug a bunch of different asylum claims because, they came up with, on a technicality, you didn't go through the exact way that we want you to go. Even though, again, they just made it up. They just made it up. Like, they did go through a way that was acceptable. Now the Supreme Court is going, well, that way is not acceptable. So the implication seems to be you have to illegally get into the country and stay here and then try to get asylum, not go through an official port of entry and claim it there at the border. They say, that doesn't count as you claiming asylum because you're not in the country. You can't claim asylum yet. You got to be in the country first. So they're actually incentivizing, like, break the law first, and then maybe we'll allow you in, even though we won't then either, but do that. So I'm just absurd. They are officially trying to usher in Stephen Miller's white nationalist utopia, his fake utopia. That's what they're trying to do. This is white nationalism to the max, y'all. That's what this is. And it's the conservative justices who are delivering all of these decisions. Okay, we also have the Supreme Court sided with the challengers to a Hawaii law that restricted the carry of handguns on certain private property. So now, on certain private property, if you're in Hawaii and you say, we don't want you carrying guns here in this area, now the person can go, fuck you, I'm going to carry my gun on this private property. Like, what the fuck is that? What are we going back to the wild, wild west? Is that what we're going to do? You going to allow people to fucking have opium dens too while we're at it? Is that what we're going to do? We're going to have shootouts in the street? Is that what we're going to do? We're going to have duels? Jesus Christ. What are we talking about here? Oh, my word. Okay. And then we also have the Supreme Court ruled in favor of the company Bayer, their bid to limit lawsuits in state court claiming Roundup weed killer causes cancer. So this is quite directly a decision that will lead to more people getting cancer because of Roundup. It is limiting the number of people who can sue because they got cancer from Roundup. You cannot make this stuff up. You cannot make this stuff up. This is humiliating. This is embarrassing. This is partisan hack shit. The Supreme Court loves to suck itself off and say, we're not political. We only care about the law. We only care about justice. We only care about the way the system is supposed to work. And then they do stuff like this, exposing immediately they are partisan hacks. They're the biggest partisan hacks out there. They're completely bought and owned by big business, by billionaires in the Epstein class, by MAGA. I mean, it's just out of this world. It's just out of this world. So if conservatives want to defend this, by all means, be my guest. But you're defending what? The right to have poisonous, toxic, cancer-causing chemicals coursing through your veins when you don't even realize it? Right? Is that what you want? You want the right of a corporation to poison your ass and put you in an early fucking grave? I'm not kidding when I say that a lot of these decisions will simply make it so a lot of us die younger. right? Like, it's that simple. Like, these decisions will make it so a lot of us just die younger. On top of Trump's deregulation of water, of air, basically getting rid of the Clean Water Act and the Clean Air Act, allowing all sorts of chemicals to be dumped all over the place. When you represent industry to this degree, you're just telling the American people to fuck off and die. That's what you're doing. And they don't care. They don't care. So, like I said, we need to reform the court. There's no more questions, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We are not serious about power unless and until we rein in these judicial supremacists and extremists. It's that simple. Okay, now, speaking of humiliating stories, I don't know if you guys saw this, but the other day we were excited because the Senate passed a war powers resolution telling Trump, sorry, you can't do the war in Iran anymore, which means the House of Representatives tried to rein in Trump's illegal war, and now the Senate tried to rein in Trump's illegal war. Okay, so every Democrat except one, Fetterman, who barely counts as a Democrat, voted the proper way, and then 4 Republicans crossed over to vote with the Democrats. So that would be Murkowski, Collins, Rand Paul, and Bill Cassidy, who just lost because of Trump. So that's him trying to get back at Trump, basically. Well, what happened? A day after this, Trump calls a meeting in his office with Bill Cassidy and with Rand Paul, okay? Reportedly, he berates the fuck out of them. He dresses them down ski, y'all. Yells at them in a way that's just shocking. That's like an angry alcoholic father yelling at his child who pissed him off. That's what we're talking about. What ends up happening? They schedule a vote for the day after. Rand Paul flips his vote from being against the Iran war to just voting present. And Bill Cassidy flips his vote from being against the Iran war to being for the Iran war. These fucking disgusting, sniveling, subhuman filth creatures decided to sell out the entire country because daddy yelled at them. That's what they did. Now, why? Why did they do that? Why did they fall in line so quickly? Why did they cuck themselves? Why did they humiliate themselves? Why did they out themselves as massive cowards? I think the answer is very simple. I think he's probably blackmailing them. I think he probably showed them, here's the dirt I have on you. I know all of your secrets, sexually, corruption-wise, money-wise, I know every law you've ever broken. I know all of that, and I can destroy you. I can have my DOJ arrest you, investigate you. I can have you arrested right the fuck now if I want to. I can do whatever the fuck I want. I'm the Mad King. I play by my own rules. I have no doubt Trump threatened them in some very clear way in that meeting, and that's why these little bitches came to heel. How humiliating. How humiliating. The Republicans are a disgrace. The entire Republican Party, as I've always told you, it's a terrorist organization. That's what it is. It's a terrorist organization. It's a mob. It's a death cult. They're fascists. They're imperialists. They're colonialists. I've never seen anything like this before. Shame on them, bro. Shame on them. This is just out of this world. They vote to end the Iran war, then immediately flip and go, actually, let's continue it. Because they're hanging something over my head that I don't want to get out there in the public. Who cares if you're secretly gay and you got caught sucking somebody's dick in a New Jersey Turnpike bathroom? You'd rather have more Iranian schoolgirls murdered and bombed to smithereens than that come out? It says so much about these disgusting freaks, doesn't it? Okay. Now, while we're on the topic of the Iran war, we just got word that a cargo ship has been attacked and hit in the Strait of Hormuz. It was hit a few miles off the coast of Oman. And it came 5 hours after the IRGC warned them, hey, don't continue or we're going to attack you. There were also 3 other oil tankers that were seen turning around earlier today while using that same corridor. So at this point, y'all, I genuinely don't know what the fuck is going on anymore. I just saw Robert Pape, who's an expert on this stuff, said 2 days ago that it appears like the Strait of Hormuz is open, but it's operating at 1/3 the capacity that it was before the war. But then I've seen other people say, no, it's not open and it's closed. And now we hear the story of Iran attacking another ship, which would mean all the other ships are going to go, well, we're not going to go through either because they don't want to get attacked. And the insurance companies are going to go, we're not going to insure you because they're attacking people again. Trump just came out and accused Iran of violating the deal, even though, of course, Iran would say, no, you guys never were abiding by the deal because Israel is still in fucking Lebanon and they haven't withdrawn and they're still attacking, right? So as I always told you, this thing is on fucking baby deer legs, this so-called deal. Right now, it looks more like the same fake ceasefire that happened in Gaza. So, I wouldn't bet on this shit, but the bottom line is they better get that motherfucking Strait of Hormuz open soon enough. Give Iran whatever the fuck they want. Because if you don't, we are going to blow through the entire strategic reserve, and then gas is going to be $6 a gallon or $7 a gallon. There will be shortages. There will be rationing. It's going to be fucking insanity. It's going to be insanity. Trump said it himself. It's going to be bedlam. It's going to be bedlam if we go through all the strategic reserve. And we're there. We're there. We are so close to that happening. So even if Pape is right and the Strait is operating at a third of the capacity it was before the war, that's not enough. That's not enough. So they better get that bitch open. But they don't know what the fuck they're doing, I think, bro. And so it's still an absolute mess. Okay. Speaking of messes, I know you guys have seen this. The Great American State Fair that's happening right now is honestly one of the single most embarrassing things I've ever seen in my life. Bro. To say this shit is Temu is the understatement of the millennium, y'all. This shit looks like it was slapped together on 3 hours' notice. And the people setting it up are getting paid less than motherfucking minimum wage. It's made with, like, aluminum foil and fucking, cardboard boxes and shit. I'm not kidding when I say the food area, the food tent, lost power and all the fucking ice cream melted. Trump put up this mock representation of his Arc de Trump. It looks like that bitch is made out of styrofoam. There's like 1/100th the number of people there that everybody thought was going to be there. I mean, this shit looks like, remember the military parade? Now, I was afraid that was going to be a fascist show of strength and power. I was worried about that. Instead, it was like highlighting the death of an empire. You had these creaky-ass tanks going down the street like... You had these little dinky-ass drones going... buzzing all over the place. You had these fat-ass soldiers with bad posture marching like they didn't even want to fucking be there, sweating their balls off. You had 7 people in the crowd. Most of them have no teeth. Like, that was the military parade. That's what this shit is. This shit, exactly what we saw with the renovation of the reflecting pool, with all the fucking algae and the paint already peeling, and the mob boss dude who got the contract and just robbed us blind and gave Trump a cut, right? It's that, except now in festival form, right? This fair is the same fucking thing. The Maine delegation, nobody came from Maine to be a Maine delegation. So the area for Maine in the Great American State Fair is 2 empty chairs, and then there's like, some random facts written on the walls about Maine. That's it. That's the whole fucking thing. Bro, I've never seen anything like it before. It is the most budget-ass shit I've ever seen in my life. But the fact of the matter is what? I guarantee you they're skimming off the top of this shit too. I guarantee you Trump is walking away with a pretty motherfucking penny in his own pocket because whichever vendors he used on this one, let him skim off the top because he only picks people who let him skim off the top. That's why he does all these fucking no-bid contracts. You know what this reminds me of? You guys remember this, right? The Willy Wonka exhibit that was just like a total scam. And it was like the saddest thing anybody's ever seen. Somebody standing there in like a Willy Wonka costume or a fucking Oompa Loompa costume or some shit. And it's like empty walls. And it was like the worst exhibit anybody's ever seen. That's what this is. Except it's the Great American State Fair for our 250th birthday. Bro, this country is cooked. The 250th celebration went from being like something that was supposed to be fun and interesting to now everybody knows that like we kind of didn't make it 250 years. Our system of government has completely transformed. Like we have officially become an oligarchy and a kakistocracy. And so since that's what we are, can we really celebrate 250 years of freedom and liberty and democracy and a constitutional republic? I don't think so. The Trump regime took a massive diarrhea shit and then wiped their ass with the Constitution. They don't care about due process. They don't care about getting warrants. They don't care about free speech. They've destroyed free speech. He does that on a daily motherfucking basis. And now we're going to celebrate the country? What are we celebrating? What are we celebrating? The things I want to celebrate in this country are things like, Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy, the Civil Rights Act, the New Deal. That's the shit I want to celebrate. What these people want to celebrate is like all self-aggrandizing horse shit. They want to give a biased version of history that excludes black people, that excludes all minority communities, that excludes all the socialism that we have in this country that has made this country better, whether it be Medicare or the VA or Social Security. Like they want to pretend like we're some sort of white nationalist paradise, as they ironically prove the opposite, because with them in charge, everything looks like, it's on the lowest budget imaginable, and they were just skimming off the top a solid 70% of the funds, right? So just incredible stuff, man. Again, I've never seen anything like it. The Great American State Fair is basically one giant wet fart, and everybody sees it, and everybody knows it, and nobody's going to it. I mean, it's the trashiest government in human history. The fucking UFC fight on the lawn of the White House, where they're like hawking crypto bullshit and gambling bullshit. You have rednecks fighting at the Ellipse. You have people drinking Monster Energy in 100-degree heat and passing out. I mean, this is like Idiocracy and like, the hillbilly regime just running this country into the ground. It is so fucking trashy. It is so trashy. If Obama did 1/100th of this, they would have impeached him the next motherfucking day, y'all. The next day. Okay. I got to give you this. Nobody else is going to talk about this. Nobody's going to talk about this. But do you guys remember in the Epstein files, sloppy Steve Bannon was talking to Jeffrey Epstein, and they brought up this Trump aide in his first term by the name of Madeline Westerhout, I believe. Westerhout, something like that. And they call her, in their private correspondence, knee pads. And they say something to the effect of, well, God bless her, because she's doing a job that nobody else wants to do. She's doing a job that certainly Melania Trump doesn't want to do. Know what I'm saying, son? A little sucky $5 in that bitch. A little Monica Lewinsky-ification of that bitch. Again, they called her knee pads. So the speculation was, based on the Epstein files, appears to be relatively verified, in my opinion, that Trump was having an affair with this Madeline Westerhout aide of his. And yeah, nobody talked about it. Nobody talked about it. Never came up. Mainstream media ignored it. We talked about it, like a handful of other people talked about it. Could you imagine if there was secret leaks that showed Barack Obama was getting blown by one of his young female aides? We would never hear the fucking end of it. But we didn't even hear the beginning of it when it came to Trump. Okay, well, guess what? Daily Beast is now reporting this. White House aide Natalie Harp's obsession with Trump has become so severe that her own brother has spoken out. He intervened. The title is Trump, 80, accused of very unhealthy relationship with blonde aide, 34 years old. Less than half his fucking age. And they're saying that her obsession with Trump is so severe that her brother needed to intervene. Looks like we got a new Madeline on our hands, y'all. Looks like we got a new knee pads on our hands. Bro, this motherfucker's got 1.5 feet in the grave, dog. How is the blood going to flow to his penis when the blood can't even flow to his legs? Those cankles are fucking popping. I know you've heard of BBLs, but is there a BBC? Well, BBC stands for something else, but Brazilian Brazilian cankle lift. You get what I'm trying to get at here, right? It looks like this motherfucker had implants in his legs because the blood flow is so poor from his congestive heart failure that his heart doesn't work as well anymore, and he can't pump blood to all the parts of his body he needs to. His hand is fucking rotting off. His neck is fucking rotting off. And I'm supposed to believe his fucking dick plumbing is still working? I don't know, man. I kind of find that hard to believe. But I bet he's trying. Because we know this motherfucker's a disgusting, disgusting horn dog. But 1.5 feet in the grave, still doing his thing with these disgusting cult member little young female aides. Well, I guess the good news is he graduated from the 13-year-olds and now he's at 34. So, Katie Johnson can rest easy tonight, knowing that as he's become geriatric and on the verge of death, he's updated his taste to like, I'll take somebody in their 30s now, as I'm 80. Unbelievable, man. Unfucking believable. Okay. Megyn Kelly is getting a lot of heat, y'all. I don't know if you've seen this, but Megyn Kelly went on her shitty show, which is also on Sirius XM. It's a podcast, but it's also on Sirius XM. And she was talking about the Supreme Court decision to give the middle finger to all the Haitian immigrants. Legal Haitian immigrants, by the way. They're here legally, and the Supreme Court's like, fuck you, get out, right? So Megyn says, quote, "Go home, get out. We know our country is better than yours. That's because we filled it with our work ethic, culture, and values." Bitch, you are in an air-conditioned studio talking about work ethic. You run your fucking mouth for a living. You yap for a living. I do the same thing you do. This is not real work, bitch. This is not real work. Stop. Don't fucking act like you're so special and your shit doesn't stink because you talk on the internet, okay? This is nothing. This is easy. You turn on a camera, you run your fucking mouth, and people listen if you're lucky. That's what that is. I guarantee you your average Haitian immigrant works way fucking harder than Megyn fucking Kelly. A multi-millionaire because she yaps, because she goes for a living, because she goes, I love Donald Trump, he's the greatest, I love Republicans, they're the greatest. Cut to, I'm now turning on Trump, even though I'll continue to back Republicans to the hilt. That's how you get paid, by being a fucking rank propagandist. She continues, you being here only dilutes it for us, dilutes it. Again, why don't you do the goose stepping and the zig heiling as you say this? Dilutes what? Diluting our bloodline? Is that what you're talking about? Are you talking about ruining your white nationalist paradise? And she says, go back to fucking Haiti. Let me say something very clearly. I would much, much rather be friends with and live next to a hardworking Haitian immigrant than Megyn fucking Kelly. Your bigotry is disgusting. Your xenophobia and your racism is fucking disgusting. You think you're special. You are not fucking special. You think you're a hard worker. You are not a fucking hard worker. You don't know what hard work is. I don't know what fucking hard work is, okay? I was raised in an upper middle class family, and now I run my mouth on the internet for a fucking living. Have some motherfucking humility and respect for people who actually do back-breaking fucking work out there in the hot sun. Do all the things that you don't know how to do and don't fucking want to do. These people are here legally, and you're still this disrespectful to them. I fucking hate this bitch, man. I fucking hate this bitch. By the way, this is where we're at now in this country. We're at this point where you could be this openly racist, be this openly bigoted. By the way, spare me and save me your whole fucking I'm anti-Trump now routine. Shove it up your fucking ass. Because if your anti-Trumpness leads right back to pro-Trump policies and leads right back to the Republican Party, we're not interested. Save us. Shut the fuck up. You're never going to join the proper side. So go to Shut the Fuck Up's bill forever. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. God, I hate this bitch. Give us another rant about how, well, Santa just is white, kids. Is that your hard work? Your hard work is telling people Santa's white? Congratulations on that. Jesus fucking Christ. It's like, people like this are your enemy. And they're your enemy because she will never tell you the truth. The actual truth is, we have enemies. There are real enemies in this world. And the enemies are the fascists, the billionaires, and the warmongers. Those are the actual enemies. She doesn't believe in that. She actually supports a lot of the fascist billionaires and warmongers, okay? Her enemies, the ones that she wants to use state power to crack down on, are black people, brown people, right? So immigrants, Muslims, trans people, sexual minorities. That's who she views as the enemy, right? But what she's doing is divide and conquer for the billionaire class. That's what she's doing. Classic right-wing bullshit is what this is. And we're fucking sick of it, man. We're fucking sick of it. Really? This many years of Trump didn't fucking clue you in that cracking down on immigration is not all it's made out to be? I mean, shit. These people told everybody, hey, if we just crack down on these immigrants, your life is going to be way better off, bro. Just let us crack down on these immigrants, round them up, fucking deport them, make their life a living hell, and then everything will be great. Well, it turns out they did all of that. Go look at everything ICE did. They did fucking all of that. Broke up families, shot tear gas at journalists and babies, shot priests in the face with pepper balls, fucking hit people with cars and shit, drag people to Alligator Alcatraz, 4,000 people are missing, at least 40 people are dead, shooting innocent anti-ICE protesters in the face, breaking up families, shipping them out of the country, sending them to concentration camps to get tortured like fucking CKED in El Salvador. They made immigrants' lives a living fucking hell. And guess what? Your life is worse. Everything is worse off. Inflation's worse. Unemployment's worse. AI is still coming to take your motherfucking jobs. Right? The economy is shit. Basically, we're already in a recession for the bottom 80 or 85% of the public. So if cracking down on immigrants would make things better, why didn't it? Things are worse now. Have you thought about that? No, they didn't. They don't care. Because really what it stems from is they're just racist. They're just racist. They're just bigoted. They're just racist. They just want to blame people who don't look like them for all their fucking problems. No, the problem are people exactly like you, Megyn Kelly. It's the fascists, the billionaires, the warmongers, the white fucking Republicans. They're the problem. You're the problem. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. All right. Well, Stephen Miller, had a hard time keeping down his 2-inch erection that he had over this Supreme Court decision when it came to asylum. He said, quote, America's doors are fully closed to asylum seekers. If you want asylum, we'll find another country to take you. Okay? Well, guess what? Since October of 2025, 4,499 refugees have been resettled in the U.S. All but 3 of them were South African, white South Africans. Isn't that insane? So he actually is trying to usher in. He actually is trying to usher in a white nationalist, white supremacist society. And his policies are reflecting that, allowing in nearly 5,000 people, almost all of them white South Africans, as decision after decision from both the regime and the disgusting courts all say, if you're black and brown, go fuck yourself. Oh, my word, man. Okay. Well, let's talk about some good news here. So the New York Times is reporting that Zoran was able to fulfill his #1 campaign promise of freezing the rent. So a New York City panel just voted to freeze rents for nearly 1 million rent-stabilized apartments. Again, that's Zoran's, one of his key campaign promises. And it's handing him yet another major policy win just 6 months into his time in office. He was able to get, I don't know if it's the last 1 or 2 people who were on the board. He was able to get his picks on the board. People weren't sure he was going to be able to do it. He was able to do it. I don't know how he did it. I don't know what deals were made behind the scenes. But he was able to get his people on the board, and then his people delivered on his promise of freezing the rent. So, somebody said it online. They were like, Zoran just keeps hitting this big red make everything better button in New York City. And you know what? That's exactly right. That is what he keeps doing. And that's why the Republicans fucking despise him, and that's why the corporate Democrats fucking despise him, is because he is so good. He's so good that he shows people what government can do for you. That it's all bullshit that, there's nothing the government can ever do to help you. That's just not true, right? He already cracked down on shitty landlords. He already ordered a deep cleaning of the subway. He handled the winter storm so well that even Republicans were giving him credit. He got Hochul on board for universal child care. That's what's coming next, universal child care, right? He taxed the rich. He just froze the rent. Turns out Democratic Socialists who are intelligent can find a way to actually make your life better. And that's exactly what the fuck he did. Also, murders in New York City have just reached the lowest level in recorded history under Zoran Mamdani, which, by the way, flies directly in the face of the idea that, the left isn't serious about public safety, and they actually make things worse and crime goes up. Well, then why did we just hit the lowest level ever under Zoran? We also have corporate Democrats, or the Diet MAGA Democrats. They are getting very, very scared of the Mamdani wing of the party. That's their words, not mine. One battleground Democrat said to CNN, they're so concerned about the rise of Democratic Socialists that they're having serious conversations with donors about leaving the party altogether in the next term. Well, allow me to say to these particular Democrats, don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out, bitch. Don't let the door hit you in the ass. Because guess what? We don't need you. We don't need you. Understand something. The reason we see the rise of Zoran and Democratic Socialists and candidates just like that is because of the policies. This is the wing of the party that's saying, fuck Israel. Cut off the money to them. Cut off the weapons to them. End these fucking wars. This is the wing of the party that's saying we want Medicare for all and free college and a living wage and unions and taxing the rich and universal daycare. This is the wing of the party that's like, get money out of politics. And so, yeah, people are finally listening to the message. Hey, these people will actually fight MAGA, and here's the policies they support. That's why they're winning. That's why they're winning. And so if you, as a corporate Democrat, say, I can't be in this party anymore. Okay, well, guess what? The voters actually agree with the Democratic Socialists. So yes, if you are no longer representing the will of the voters in your own party, then get the fuck out. Totally. That's totally fine. Now, for those of you who are centrist Democrats, but now you see where the winds are blowing and you've had a change of heart and you realize, hey, it is what it is. This is what the people want. I'm going to deliver because I'm a public representative. Then welcome. But for those of you who would rather stay loyal to the Israel lobby and the corporate donors and the military-industrial complex, yes, there is a party for you that is in favor of all of those things. It's the Republican Party, and they'd be more than happy to have you, okay? Also, Axios says Democratic centrists are already plotting how to curb the left bloc's influence next Congress. Quote, "You're going to see a group of moderates do exactly the same thing. We won't vote for X unless we get Y," one told Axios. "There's going to be a war." Okay, now here's the thing. This is what the Diet MAGA Democrats have always done. This is what the corporate Democrats have always done. This was what Joe Manchin did. This is what Kyrsten Sinema did. These people always, played hardball and said, we're not going to vote for this unless we get this. For the first time ever, we now have some Democrats who are going to throw their weight around as a bloc, but actually represent the people, actually represent what we want, our policies. And so you can't, to threaten us to say, oh yeah, us corporate Democrats are going to do what we've been doing all along. Yeah, we know. But guess what? Now, you're just putting a target on your back by letting everybody know, hey, I'm one of the asshole Democrats that you don't agree with. And you're going to get primary and you're going to fucking lose. So, look, don't say we didn't warn you. Don't say I didn't warn you. When they say there's going to be a war, bitch, there already is a war. You've been waging war on us for decades. Decades. We're just finally starting to fight back. And the people are now waking up and realizing we're right and you're wrong. So if you want that war, okay, but don't be sad when you lose your fucking seat. In fact, the other corporate Democrats were smarter to just say, yeah, maybe we'll leave the party. Yeah, okay, that's fine. You do that. Because we have all the voters. We have the voters. As soon as voters realize, oh shit, these people represent all of these good policies that I like, and these people are just like Diet MAGA, that's when they were like, okay, yeah, let's go with these new, more radical voices. I'm sorry, but you can't do the whole, let's do politics as usual, when politics as usual led to Donald Trump. You guys led to Donald Trump. The Democratic Party, reflecting you and neoliberalism, gave us Donald Trump. Grow the fuck up. Or would you rather have Donald Trump over leftists? Because that's how captured you are by industry, that you're like, I'd rather take fascism than actual social democracy or democratic socialism. And that would say a lot about you. So 13 moderate Democrats have signed a promise to America, pledging to fight against democratic socialists. So there, like I said, in the past, this would have worked, and there's way more moderates that do this kind of hardball shit. But in today's day and age, all they're doing is letting all of the voters know, hey, we're the bad guys. We're the assholes. We're the Fetterman types. Fetterman is so fucking despised by Democratic voters in Pennsylvania. He's got no chance to run as a Democrat and win in the next election. But these guys are saying, we're going to put together a fucking Fetterman caucus is what this is. Okay, good luck with that. You're going to get your fucking cheeks clapped by the voters. Not even just by the Democratic Socialists who are your colleagues, but by the fucking voters. Now, by the way, on that point, listen to this. New Michigan Senate polling that came out from Mitchell Research. So Haley Stevens, the pro-Israel Democrat, is losing by 4 points in the general to Mike Rogers, the Republican. Okay. Mallory McMorrow is losing by 6 points to the Republican in the general election. Abdul El Sayed is winning by 5 points against the Republican. And Abdul El Sayed is up in virtually every primary poll against his Democratic challengers now. So it's happening, bro. It's happening. It's all taking shape. All the things they tried to throw at Abdul failed miserably. It just failed miserably. And now he's stronger and stronger and stronger. He's definitely going to be the Democratic nominee and likely to be the next senator from Michigan. And we keep showing them the roadmap, bro. This is how you win. This is how you win in the year 2026. And they could choose to disagree with us, but then they're cooked. Then they're done. By the way, polling came out from Gallup, okay? And CNN was talking about this. But they asked Democratic voters what they think of socialism and capitalism. Now, back in 2010, the year I graduated college, socialism was 50% liked by Democratic voters, 51% liked capitalism. So capitalism had the tiniest of an edge when it came to which do you like better, right? But today, socialism is favored by 66% of Democratic voters. And capitalism is only supported by 42%. So we are over 20 points preferring socialism to capitalism in the year 2026 among Democrats. Big things are happening, man. Big things are happening. Now, CNN tried to do a segment sort of like poo-pooing the rise of the Democratic Socialists, right? So when you ask Democratic voters, what they think of the Democratic Socialists of America, that group is plus 17 in the CNN poll, okay? Now, what they did is then they asked all voters what they think of the Democratic Socialists of America. And when you add all the Republicans and the independents, support for democratic socialism is minus 27. Now, here's where the fuckery comes in, and here's why this is bullshit. As Adam Johnson points out on Twitter, he says, it's funny to build a segment around how unpopular DSA is with the broader electorate without noting the same poll finds the Democratic Party's favorability is at minus 25. So basically the same as Democratic Socialists of America. Should Democrats distance themselves from the Democratic Party brand as well? Like, the point of the CNN segment was to be, oh, you can't identify as a Democratic Socialist. That is toxic in general elections, and here's our evidence of that. Okay, but by your same logic, the Democratic Party is also that disliked. So should nobody run as a Democrat, period, Harry Enton? See, this is why that saying exists. There's lies, damned lies, and statistics. This is playing with numbers to effectively lie and push a narrative that you want to push. That's what Harry Enton did here. And it's bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. Because, by the way, here's a segment you could have done, Harry Enton. Where do the American people stand on the actual issues? And when you poll the democratic socialist issues or the social democratic issues, it's overwhelmingly preferred that people want universal health care, free college, a living wage, ending the wars, raising taxes on the rich, universal daycare. All of our policies, when you go one by one, are beloved by the people. And that's something they'll never talk about, and there's no way around it. You can't, act like, oh, these things can never win, when you actually go issue for issue when our ideas are the most popular. Okay. Now, the freak out, the absolute freak out over these Democratic Socialist wins have just been a thing to behold, bro. So the Republican nominee for New York governor is a guy by the name of Bruce Blakeman. And he went after Brad Lander, who, of course, won. He was a Zoran-endorsed candidate. And, he's very critical of Israel. And, he's for all the right policies. But this guy, Bruce Blakeman, called Brad Lander, quote, anti-Semitic, and said, quote, Lander would have been a camp guard in a concentration camp if he could. Lander is Jewish. So the Republican nominee for New York governor just accused a Jewish man of being anti-Semitic and saying that he would be a camp guard in a concentration camp. These fucking people are so far out over their skis, they have no idea the backlash that is bubbling up in this country because of the shit like this that they say. By the way, they polled American Jews. The majority of American Jews say Israel committed a genocide. Are they all bad Jews? Are they all self-hating Jews? Are you stripping them of their Jewishness? You disgusting fuck. No, fuck you. Who are you to say anything? Who are you to say anything? It turns out that American Jews, when we all got the lesson, never again, American Jews internalized it and they realized that means for fucking everybody, not just Jewish people. So never again also means don't mass murder Palestinians. Jesus Christ. Jesse Waters was flipping out and breaking down on his show, and he says, quote, it's not socialism, guys. This is communism. You can't reason with these guys. You have to crush them. These people want to hurt us. Okay, so here's what I would say to Jesse Waters. Hey, Jesse, you've been calling every single Democrat under the sun for the past 2 decades a communist. You called motherfucking Bill Clinton and Barack Obama communists. You called the most centrist, the most neoliberal of all Democrats. You call fucking Hakeem Jeffries and Nancy Pelosi communists. This is a classic example of the boy who cried motherfucking wolf. You said it over and over and over and over to the point where everybody yawns. Nobody cares. Your words carry no meaning, you dumb fuck. Seriously. And so now we have somebody. Most of these people, by the way, are Democratic Socialists. I do think there are a couple who are communists, by the way. But you know what I say to that? That's fucking awesome. Because as I always told you guys, in the context of U.S. politics, I think you should vote for people who are to the left of you. I like it when people to the left of me get elected, because all that's going to do is drag the Overton window back to sanity. Our political spectrum right now is out there far right in fucking fascist land. If the entire Democratic Party was communist, just that counterbalancing the fascism might drag us back to social democracy. So you should want people who are to the left of you, who don't agree with you on certain issues, just to try to drag us back to sanity and provide a counterbalance to the insane far-right garbage that we have in this country, okay? But like I said, it doesn't matter what you say anymore, Jesse Waters, because it's not going to land. And the other thing is, you have to crush them ideology. That is what you guys have always done to us. We are the backlash to you doing that over and over and over and over. We are the backlash to you assholes building concentration camps and sending immigrants there. We are the backlash to you guys protecting the Epstein pedophiles. We are the backlash to Trump starting a new war every other week and carpet bombing schools and hospitals. We are the backlash to your endless support for Israel as they murder babies on a regular basis. We are the backlash to you guys super serving the billionaires and giving them all of the money. We are the backlash to that. You have been crushing us for the entire existence of the Republican Party, especially in modern history. You guys have been a joke. Who's the last good Republican? Abe fucking Lincoln? Right? What are we talking about here? So, spare me with we have to crush them. Yeah, you have to do the thing you've been doing nonstop this whole time, which led to the backlash, which led to where we are right now. And finally, these people want to hurt us shit. You got to be kidding me, bro. You have got to be kidding me. You guys have been hurting us. You guys have been going after every minority community. You guys have been fucking making mincemeat of us to serve the Epstein class and the billionaires and the military-industrial complex. I mean, what a sick joke. The fact of the matter is, as I've always said, they actually want to hurt us. Our take is different. My take towards Republicans is, I hate you. Stay away from me. You're a piece of shit. I don't want to be friends with you. I don't want to be anywhere near you, but I want you to have a good life. Because if you have a good life, that makes a healthier country. And if you give a whole bunch of hateful, spiteful little demons a good life, some percentage of them will stop being spiteful, hateful little demons, and they'll come to their senses. It's material politics 101. That's what it is. And so he got it exactly backwards. You guys want to hurt us. Was it Brian Kilmeade or was it fucking Jesse Waters who said we should give the involuntary lethal injection to homeless people? One of them said it. Fox News broadcast a conservative commentator saying, let's mass murder every homeless person. And he dares to say, Democratic Socialists want to hurt us. No, I don't want to hurt you. I want you to have health care. I want you to have education. I want you to have a living wage. I want you to be in a union. I want you to not die for Israel. I want you to not die bombing girls' schools in Iran. Fuck you. With his fucking frat boy rapist ass energy. This prick. Okay. Republicans decided to go after James Tallarico. RNC Research posted this clip. James Tallarico says Republicans are, quote, monstrous people and threaten the existence of people that he loves. And it was like a secret video or secret audio that somebody recorded. Literally every single comment is people being like, based, Chad James Tallarico, totally spot on, absolutely nailed it. You are monstrous people. Fuck you guys. So yet again, another massive backfire. RNC Research is so out of touch that everything they post makes us look great. Like, I think, was it them? It may have been them who posted an ad going after Abdul and Hassan. And, like, the ad was like, these people want to do Medicare for all. Do you believe that? These people want to abolish ICE. Do you believe that? They're anti-Israel extremists. And you watch it and you go, did some intern make this who's pro-Abdul and Hassan? Because it certainly seems like that. So they're fucking up, man. They are fucking up. Okay. Thomas Massie, since he lost his race, he's been letting it hang out a little more lately, telling the truth a little more lately. And he said, quote, I think it's ironic that we Republicans control the House, Senate, and Supreme Court and the White House, and we're yelling about election fraud? I mean, we won all the damn elections, he says. In other words, that's his soft way of saying, shut the fuck up about 2020. Shut the fuck up about your Save America Act. This is bullshit. The elections weren't rigged. Get the fuck over it. That's what he's saying here. Now, Thomas, that would have been great to hear the entire time you were in office and your pedophile rapist president was marauding and crusading about how the election was stolen from him in 2020. It would have been nice for you to say it then, but I guess better late than never. Okay, speaking of stealing elections, the Utah Republican Party paid a firm $4.3 million to justify the signatures, to falsify the signatures of dead people. So it's rampant, brazen election fraud, and it was conducted in an attempt to legalize gerrymandering in Utah. So shout out to Democracy Docket. that did all the research for this and posted an article on it. But yet again, the silent sinners scream the loudest. And this is classic psychological projection. The Republicans always scream about fucking voter fraud and election rigging and all this stuff. Turns out they're the ones doing it. They're the ones doing it. And to the extent anybody gets caught, it is always fucking them. It's always them. It's always them. Okay. Trump over on Lie Social was amplifying yet another post from QAnon. He does this all the time when he goes on his like late night posting sprees. He can't stay awake during the day and he can't sleep at all during the night because of his dementia. The part of his brain that regulates his circadian rhythm is totally broken down. And so late night posting sprees all over the place, threatening to steal Greenland, posting things that are incomprehensible, posting about his fucking reflecting pool and the Arc de Trump and all this fucking bullshit, his face on Mount Rushmore. And he posted something from a QAnon account, right? And as Patriot Takes points out, and Midas Touch points out here, Trump continues to amplify QAnon despite the fact that 0 Epstein arrests have been made by him. And the whole point of QAnon is supposed to be that the hero Donald Trump arrests the evil pedophile cabal that rapes children and drinks their blood, and he ushers in a utopia by arresting these demonic elites. No, it turns out he is the demonic elite, and he's protecting the demonic elites, and he's on the side of the pedophiles, and he is a pedophile. It's just amazing. The postmodern conservative world that we live in has made it so they can't even stick to their own narratives. Their own narratives crumble. Their own narratives fall apart. They just make it up day by day. So posting some QAnon shit when QAnon would have you arresting Epstein people, you're protecting Epstein people. Oh, my days. Oh, my days, man. Okay. How about this one? The Republican representative Anna Paulina Luna, who, by the way, was on Joe Rogan's show, and Joe Rogan was throwing a bunch of softballs down the center of the plate, and this bitch was talking about how, there's aliens, bro. I swear there's aliens and stuff, bro. And Rogan's sitting there fucking eating it up. Well, she apparently was caught using AI to write legislation after the phrase Claude responded was accidentally left in her bill's text. And then she says her excuse was, oh, no, I was only using Claude to spell check the bill. I'm sure, bitch. I'm sure that's what's going on. So humiliating these people are. Also, Republican Speaker Mike Johnson was accused of illegally using campaign funds to pay his rent. Okay? Illegally using campaign funds to pay his rent. And it turns out, I didn't know this, but apparently he has no bank accounts. Which, that's fucking crazy. That's like some 1962 type shit if I've ever seen it. Which, that begs a lot of questions, bro. What the fuck is going on here? You're trying to make your shit untrackable. This is the same fucking guy that has some sort of app on his phone that tracks when his son beats off. And his son's phone checks when he jacks off. So they can hold each other accountable. Like, what the fuck kind of perverted shit? He also apparently lives with a man. A guy who's been accused of being a closet case, living with a man in his apartment in D.C. I don't know, man. There's a lot of questions being raised about this guy's very, very odd behavior, and I think those questions are absolutely legitimate. The Washington Examiner is reporting that there's a Republican by the name of Keith Self, Republican of Texas, congressman, and he proposed repealing the 17th Amendment. For those of you who don't know, that would end the direct popular elections of U.S. senators and return the power to individual state legislators, trying to make our country even less democratic at a time when we have a crisis of democracy. Oh, my word, man. Oh, my word. Jesus Christ. All right, we also have the Trump administration has eliminated all regulations on greenhouse gas emissions from vehicles. All regulations. All. Like I said, poisoning us on a daily basis, making it so that many of us will die younger as a direct result of their policies. Just out of this world stuff. Apparently, Germany right now is likely to break its all-time heat record on Sunday. It looks like they're going to hit 106 to 108 degrees Fahrenheit. Again, that would break their all-time record. Europe is undergoing a heat wave right now that is just catastrophic, to say the least. Catastrophic. There's a marine heat wave as well in the Mediterranean Sea. And get this, the water temperature is now 13 degrees above normal. 13 degrees. 13. Hundreds of thousands of chickens have died in France because of their massive heat wave there as well. I think they got over 110 degrees in France. Remember, y'all, when you talk about the UK, when you talk about France, a lot of these places don't even have AC. Like, a lot of people who live in these places don't have AC because they're used to more mild climate. Well, now that's untenable. And now we already, I think, have hundreds of people who've died as a result of these heat waves. The hospitals are being stressed because so many people are having, heat-related health issues. And, the hospitals are being stressed at the moment. This is fucking insane what we're witnessing here. And this might be the new normal. The new normal is the climate breaking down. The new normal is these extended heat waves and these droughts and these famines and having limited water. And wars over water are coming eventually. I mean, guys, we had 6 major earthquakes in less than 24 hours. Venezuela was fucking obliterated, as I showed you guys on the channel the other day. And that's happening simultaneously at the same time. 6 earthquakes at the same time. And I think that number's going up because now more places are getting hit with aftershocks and all sorts of shit. At the same time, we're shattering heat records all throughout Europe. We're about to get a heat wave here where I am in 4 or 5 days. And it's supposed to be 105 degrees, shit like that, which it usually doesn't get like that here. Usually it's in the summer, it's 86 or something like that, but there's high humidity. When we talk about 105 plus high humidity, that's just literally unsurvivable, bro. That's what that is. That's what that is. So I don't know, man. It feels like we're past a tipping point here and people aren't acknowledging that. They're not thinking about it. They're not talking about it. We're all shoving our head in the sand. We're led by a bunch of absolute dipshit, low IQ morons who don't believe in science, right? How are we supposed to solve the problem when we're led by a guy who thinks that exercise is bad for you? That's literal. When the head of HHS bathes in sewage and takes peptides that make his skin darker and thinks nicotine is good for you, right? What are we supposed to do? They don't even believe in vaccines. Never mind fucking climate science. What are we supposed to do? I'm sorry, we need a left-wing crusade, and we got to lock up all these motherfucking criminals, the MAGA criminals, the oil executives, everybody profiting off of the destruction of our planet. We got to do what we got to do. There's no way around this shit, right? And then finally, we'll end on this, but I don't know how many of you guys know this guy, Tommy Robinson. He's basically this UK activist. He's kind of like a white nationalist guy. He just rants against Muslims 24/7. His whole thing is make the UK more white. He's also a massive Israel dick sucker. Allegedly gets a lot of funding from Israel. By the way, this is the guy who outed himself relatively recently as a closet case. He posted something that sort of told on himself, similar to Benny Johnson when Benny Johnson was look at this ad on the Military Times, and it was an ad for a gay cruise, and everybody was like, hey, asshole, those are targeted ads. So he's like, oh, shit. So Benny Johnson was outed, but this guy, Tommy Robinson, outed himself as well as a closet case. So massive racist, massive closet case, and he was doing some show, and this clip is going mega viral. This motherfucker is geeked, son. He is geeked. He is zooted to the max. I mean, he is sitting there. He's on the... He's doing this. He's doing the whole sniff, sniff, sniff. Touch the nose, touch the nose, touch the nose. Herky-jerky movements. He has taken enough cocaine to kill a small horse, is what it looks like, y'all. So, what a surprise. Another fucking degenerate scumfuck who hates Muslims and rants against Muslims and sold out to the Israelis and is a white nationalist cunt. But, that's what he's up to. So there you have it, y'all. I love y'all very much. Oh, by the way, tune in tonight to Crystal Kyle and Friends because we have Gil Duran on, the author of The Nerd Reich, and he's going to expose the billionaire plan to destroy America. And that sounds hyperbolic, but it's actually literally true. That's why they're building all these fucking bunkers. That's why Peter Thiel is fleeing the country. That's why it looks like they're preparing for end times because they actually think it's coming because they're helping to usher it in. And he's going to break down all of that for us. You don't want to miss it. Crystal Kyle and Friends tonight. Gil Duran, phenomenal interview. I'll give you a piece of it on the YouTube channel, but sign up to see the full thing. You're going to want to see the full thing. His book comes out soon, too, by the way. I cannot wait to read the full thing. You guys got to check it out, too. His book comes out in August, The Nerd Reich. It's phenomenal. But, all right, I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Everybody have a great rest of your day.